Long time no see, everybody. What's up, everyone? My name is Nate, and welcome to another all-new episode of the LoudCasa Talks podcast. On my side is my good friend Omid, co-host of the LoudCasa Talks as well. So, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, loud crowd, Casa Crew, Dukes and Duchesses, and welcome to our
Wait,
brand
wait,
new
wait.
season.
When did you become a duke of this thing here?
Oh, I just anointed myself. My good
Oh, so
buddy
you're being more?
Lincoln here.
Are you trying to be Morag right now? Are you trying to be the evil person here?
My good buddy Lincoln said that I would be crowned the Duke, and so I am now crowned the Duke of Loud Casa Talks, and we'll be talking about the Louds in their big movie.
The Louds visit over at what was it? Over at Loud. Yes, we're going to be talking about that today. I love the fact that Omid is absolutely hyped because we have been waiting 3 months to actually review this movie. It's been a long time, but I know that we've been busy. Me and Omid have been busy with all our stuff, with work and etc. I mean, I went on vacation to Oregon this past week, so now I actually have the free time. And to say the least, we're all ready to start reviewing this brand new movie. So before we get into that, let's actually catch up. So, Omid, how you been this past couple of weeks since we haven't actually met up for a review or anything?
I've actually been doing really good. Like I said, as usual, I've just been working and I was hanging out with my friend last Saturday. We went to a Thai restaurant.
Nice.
And I had some really good chicken pad Thai, really delicious. And last night I celebrated said friend's birthday over at Golden Corral. This all-you-can-eat buffet, so good.
Oh, nice. I mean, Golden Corral is something good. So good back into buffets and stuff. So that's good to hear. As you all know, I already said this before. I went to Con over in Oregon. It was a huge fun convention. If you don't know what happened, I actually interviewed Abby Trott, who voiced Becky. I also did interview Robbie Damon. I interviewed Erica Mendez. The list goes on, but unfortunately, we weren't able to actually interview a couple of them, like Kira Buckland, Faye Mata, and sadly, Teddy Lloyd was actually not available for us to interview. So we couldn't even get an interview with Teddy Lloyd, which is kind of unfortunate because Omid wants to actually hear the voice of Teddy Lloyd and see how he is. Yeah. But nonetheless, we still had a fun time. I mean, we can go through pictures and I can show you all what happened. Here's Teddy Lloyd, by the way. Went to a nighttime concert with Teddy Lloyd.
Fly away now. Fly away. Yeah.
By the way, if you don't know who Teddy Lloyd is, he's a DJ. He made the music for Panty and Stocking, a lot of other animes, but you know, he's awesome. This is us, by the way. We were cosplaying the Promised Neverland. So if y'all are into Promised Neverland, it's a great show. What else?
Just like I am, yeah.
Oh yeah, Owl House cosplayers. Y'all have Owl House cosplayers out there? This is like the stepping stone. We're already getting into Owl House cosplays, by the way. So yeah, Hunter, Ida, and Ida and Luz. There's actually Luz and Amity cosplayers are also around there as well. So to say the least, Con was fun. We had 3 days over there, and then we ended up having the whole week over at Oregon. To say the least, Oregon is absolutely beautiful to say. You know, with all the mountain ranges and things like that. So if you ever go to Oregon, please go because it's absolutely just beautiful when you actually go to a state like Oregon to say.
Yeah, I like to visit Oregon, and I specifically like to visit Gravity Falls.
Oh my God! So the city where Gravity Falls is located. Jesus, someone's obsessed with cartoons here.
Yeah, we're talking about them right now. So
right, okay. Anyways, so you know, So the thing is, before we actually get into our main subject, we always go to our recent news. So let's actually head straight to it right now. So let's head over to our first recent news that the Loud House live action movie is coming really soon for all of us to enjoy. Throughout our break, we've been treated to shorts, giving us a lot of stuff behind the scenes, like how each actor and actress gets dressed up to be their respective characters, say. So all of them having their best moments, to say the least, though. It's not looking bad. Every actor has actually portrayed the Loud House characters pretty well. But is it good enough for us to actually make us watch it and actually not cringe or anything like that? We all heard the rumors about the fact that live action adaptations suck or etc. like that. Omid, I know you have doubts in this movie. After seeing all the footage behind the scenes and all the shorts that have been popping on Nickelodeon, are you still having your doubts on this movie?
Okay, so when I first heard that the Loud House is going to have a live action movie, I'm going to be honest, I was dreading it. Like, really dreading it. Like I was not a fan of the idea of a live action Loud House like at all. Especially given my mostly bad history of watching live action adaptations of animated properties that I love. Like already when I first heard about it, it just gave me, really bad ideas about how the Loud House in live action would turn out. Like at worst, like it would be just, a blatant like Nick cheaper by the dozen clones. So um but I thought that, like, after seeing all the behind the scenes clips, the footage, how accurately they nailed the production design, how much genuine chemistry the cast have with each other on and off screen. Oh, side note, Dora Dolphin is a sweetheart. Okay, she really does perfectly fit as Lenny, and also just the amount of fun and heart that we have seen go into this production. Honestly, it's at a point where it does have potential after all. I actually do want the movie to be genuinely good, mainly because I know that the cast and crew really had so much fun making this. They really did their, research. They really did the casting right. Like, oh my god, the casting is just on superb. It's just on par. It's just really fantastic. They could have easily gone A-list celebrities to do their roles, but no, they actually focused more on what each and every character should look like. So honestly, mad props to the production designers and the casting directors, and especially the actors and actresses.
So, but here's my thing that I also love in the behind the scenes footage: the fact that like each of the actors actually portrayed like some of the best moments of each character that they portray. So, for example, like Wolfgang, who is going to be the actor for Lincoln Loud, he was like doing his best to actually like impersonate Lincoln whenever he had like his lines and everything. So he has his best lines. He did it pretty well. You know what though? I feel like whenever I see every behind the scenes like scene, I keep seeing that each character like absolutely loves their character to the core. To say like the person who likes Luann, the person who the twins, for example, who's doing Lola and Lana, they really do love to really play Lola and Lana. I have a feeling like they're really passionate for it. The fact that they're evolving that. I'm pretty sure these actors are actually Loud House fans, so obviously they're going to be absolutely like amazed that they're going to portray in this Christmas special. And to say the least, I think every character from every actor and actress from this Loud House special actually like are down to the core, actually great. Like I don't see any flaws with it. Like the Luna Loud actress is actually great. Dora Dolphin, who's doing Lenny, she's awesome. The twins are actually pulling it pretty well as Lola and Lana. And of course, the man that the plan Lincoln Loud is doing pretty well. Like he actually does look like Lincoln Loud. So I'm excited to see how this goes. I know people have their doubts, but remember, we're Loud House fans. We have to still watch it no matter what. But as we continue on seeing more behind the scenes stuff, it kind of tells me that this movie is going to do pretty well to me. So I have my high praises for what's been going on behind the scenes, and I can't wait to see this. It's going to come in 2 weeks, by the way.
Yeah, honestly, as a Loud House fan, I have to see this, like, to, pretty much make my own judgments. But honestly, I'm at a point where I'm just like, I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Like, that's all I have to say.
I know,
After seeing all the behind-the-scenes footage.
I know, but at the same time, I'm like, the actresses are actually not bad. Look, you actually have the voice of Lynn Sr. actually portraying Lynn Sr. in the movie. That's only one little positive, actor.
But one thing you got to keep in mind is that sometimes looks can be deceiving. Like I fear that this movie might go for more of a style over substance, because while the casting is nice, the cast and crew are nice people. They're generally great people, and the production design looks completely accurate. It's down to the story and it's down to the acting that what counts the most.
So far from all the BTS stuff, from all the like previews we've seen, I must say they did their part. I think the acting is actually not bad to say. I wouldn't say it would be like lackluster when we watch the whole entire thing.
But like I said, like, because there are only tad bits of clips here and there, you'd have to watch the entire movie to see like how the acting really is as a whole.
But still, though, I mean, I have my like high praises. Hopefully, it'll actually be good. I mean, it's in 2 weeks. Omid is still like having his doubts, by the way.
No, but they were severe before the behind the scenes footage. But after the behind the scenes footage, honestly, they're actually like they're not nearly as severe as they were. Like there is, tiny bit of, shreds of doubt here and there, but honestly, I have much more faith in it now than I ever have before.
Now, here's the other thing too. Like they keep on putting advertisements for this Loud House Christmas special. I mean, if you watch it on Nicktoons, you watch on Nickelodeon, they're going to push the heck out of this Loud House Christmas live action movie. Now, what kind of got me was the fact that there was an advertisement that actually shows a couple of secondary characters in there. Catherine Mulligan apparently is still in there. The Clyde's dads are in there. Apparently Tanya from Leader of the Rack is also in there, which I didn't expect to actually see. Apparently continuation also happens at the Loud Christmas special. And one other person that also came to mind was also Luna and Sam. Which, by the way, Sam is actually going to be in this movie. So,
did you just say that Sam Sharp is going to be in the live-action Loud House Christmas movie, bro?
Yes, she is going to be in this movie. Obviously, Omid is freaked out.
Oh my god! Like honestly, like about all the doubts I said about the House movie, I completely take it back. Honestly, like as of this announcement,
no.
I am
fair. That's not fair. You had your doubts.
You had your
doubts.
Yes.
No. It makes no sense. You had your doubts, and now because of Sam appearing, now you actually are like 100% into the whole movie.
I am completely on board with it now. As of now, completely on board. Yes, let's go. I apologize to Loud House Christmas for being as harsh as I was. Now I have complete faith in it. It's going to be awesome.
So we're gonna watch it the day after Thanksgiving. And we're going to absolutely like say, "Oh my God, Sam's in it! Sam's in it!" It's kind of like the feeling like that happened when you were watching the Loud House movie when Sam appeared there too.
Oh, we're gonna touch on that later. Just a quick little warning: this is not the first time that I'll be fangasming over Sam. Like, there's gonna be another point in this review that I'm gonna fangasm over hard. We're gonna get to that later.
Dang, when did Sam become such like a popular character for you? Damn. All right. I don't know. I mean, still though. I mean, I hope there'll be more secondary characters in there. Hopefully the friends come in there, like Rusty, Liam, Zach, Stella, for example. If Stella's in it, I'll be so amazed. What about Bobby? Bobby's going to be in there. If Ronnie Ann actually does appear in this movie, everyone's going to freak out. I'm pretty sure about that as well.
Well, here's the thing. Like the reason why the Sam announcement is perfect. The reason why I'm hyped up about it is not just because of Sam Sharp herself, but honestly, it's because of the fact that is a genuinely good sign. This genuinely tells you, like, it helps open doors to the possibilities of other characters being in the live action movie. Of course, I really hope to God that Ronnie Ann is in the live action.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Live action Ronnie Ann is what I want to see badly.
If you put Bobby in the movie, then you should put Ronnie Ann, right? Come on.
We need live action Ronnie Ann, damn it. If you put live action Bobby, you have to put live action Ronnie Ann. That's just the way it goes.
It has to happen. It can't just be all about Lincoln and Clyde.
And also live action Benny. Imagine the live action Benny.
I would love to see that. If they actually put Benny in there. I mean, if you have Luna and Sam, you might as well have Luann and Benny.
Although, that's a good one. Live action Miss Apple Blossom, I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, but live action, was it Mr. Coconuts? And it actually,
that's already frightening enough.
It looked good. It already looked good, actually. It looked like Mr. Coconuts.
It looked accurate, but here's the thing. It's much more appealing in the animated version because in animation, you can look, anything look kind of, cartoonish and weird like that. So I'm like Mr. Coconuts. Whereas here, however, I'm not going to be honest. When you look at Mr. Coconuts closely, my God, he is a nightmare fuel.
Oh my God, it's a puppet. It's just a puppet. I get it. Puppets are weird like
stares into your soul.
But still, I can't believe they actually put out Mr. Coconuts because it's a puppet, but it's Luann Loud. Luann Loud needs Mr. Coconuts for her comedy and all.
Like, this is coming from someone who doesn't really hate Mr. Coconuts. I find Mr. Coconuts to be a better character in of itself than people give him credit for, honestly. But even so, live action Mr. Coconuts just
it would be funny if there's Mrs. Penny Blossom. It would be really great if it actually happened.
Mrs. Apple Blossom, but yeah.
Mrs. Apple Blossom. Either way. I mean, I don't know. They're leaving a lot of stuff out, but we already know some secondary characters are in there. I mean, we already said it. Although I find it weird that we actually have that one guy Rip Hardcore apparently is going to be in this movie too, which I thought like, whoa, we never heard that name in so long, but he's going to be in this movie too.
Lincoln did try to get his backpack, the Rip Hardcore
That was a long
backpack.
time. Yeah, I know, but I was like season 5, and yeah, we never expected to actually see Rip
I'm
Hardcore
kind
back.
of wondering if that backpack will make an appearance in
I,
this movie too.
so that means Chandler will make an appearance. What if Chandler actually makes an appearance?
Oh God, no! It's
Yeah,
just like
okay. I have a feeling that they're gonna bring the high school in, and I'm pretty sure most of Lincoln's friends are gonna be there. I hope we actually see like Stella, Liam, Zach, Rusty, and those guys come in.
yeah. Imagine live action Stella. Imagine live action Stella. She would look pretty cool.
Hmm. All right. Anyways, I don't want to continue on talking about this, but yeah, we have 2 weeks to go, so we can't wait to see this new live action Christmas Loud House movie coming out soon. All right, so let's head over to our next brand new news that we actually brought up. So if you've been following the Nick Cartoon Universe YouTube channel, there's a brand new short that came out called Portal Chasers. Which, by the way, Portal Chasers actually happened a couple years ago. Now they're having their own like CGI version of Portal Chasers. They're here. Lincoln and Ronnie Ann are actually in this one, along with SpongeBob and Kid Danger. They're going to work together to find out who stole the slime in all of this Nicktoon land. So the first episode came out. It had this feeling of like Among Us. So it was like, who's sus? They have to do these wirings
Yeah.
and this kind of stuff. The other thing too is that there's also like a lot of video game references, like Sonic the Hedgehog. There's even like I love the fact that like it was Lisa all along, so it's like, oh, Lisa's always sus. So it kind of tells you
Yeah.
like every time Lisa does her
It's
things, it's like she's always sus now.
it's it's been Lisa Loud all along.
Now the second episode dropped as well, and it also showed Ronnie Ann, Lincoln, and of course SpongeBob and Kid Danger. But they also did reference a lot of other older Nicktoons as well, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They apparently like referenced a lot of like again video games like
Oh,
Excite Bike, Angry
Angry
Birds,
Birds
and
with
Tetris. So
Arnold and Gerald, Angry Pigeons. Yeah, that was
yeah,
pretty
so
cool.
so I'm like, this is pretty interesting. But I mean, I want to talk to you. How did you like this whole short series so far? When you first saw it, actually.
I thought they were fun little shorts, nothing groundbreaking, but pretty fun to watch, honestly. What really caught me was the video game references. Like you said, Among Us, Motorbike, Sonic the Hedgehog, Angry Birds, and Tetris. They referenced Tetris there. Remember that scene where Lincoln
You mean this
did the
Tetris
Tetris?
scene right here? I mean,
Yeah,
I thought it was actually pretty cool that they actually put Tetris in here. So I
like
love the fact, like, oh, it's a grid. So who has to unlock them? It's Lincoln Loud who has to unlock them from their Loud house, by the way.
one thing that kind of upset me though is this. Like after Lincoln did the Tetris, like completed the Tetris, SpongeBob fawns over Lincoln Loud and he's like, my hero. And it's like, no, SpongeBob, that is Ronnie Ann's thing. That's Ronnie Ann's line. How dare you? Okay. Ronnie Ann is supposed to do that, not SpongeBob. What are you doing? Nickelodeon, what are you doing? You're getting it wrong.
Okay, so I don't know. Like this short is fun, but it's only 3 minutes long. It's pretty much have these four characters just try to find this monster and save the slime. I love the video game references are actually pretty clever. Like they put right here Tetris, for example. I'm like, I didn't expect to actually see Tetris games actually happen. And the other thing is too the other thing that I like as well is that they reference to old Nicktoons as well. So the second episode actually brought in Hey Arnold and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I thought that was actually pretty clever of them to actually bring it up there. So now I'm kind of wondering what's going to be next for these Portal Chasers. Are they going to go to like other Nicktoon lands, like say for example Danny Phantom or Fairly Odd Parents or Cat Scratch or Cat Dog or any of those places? Maybe that could be a pretty cool thing to see.
I'm gonna call it right now. They're gonna do a Danny Phantom reference in which they reference Pac-Man.
I would say that too. Maybe, but you know what? Though I mean, like we're going back to old classic video games. I would not be surprised if they put Pac-Man or Mega Man or Star Fox, for example.
Yeah.
Mario has to be in this somehow. Like I don't know who is going to be like Mario, who's going to collect coins and things like that, but he has to be in this somehow.
And it wouldn't be the first time that something related to the Loud House would reference Super Mario. Take a look at Game Off, for example, Total Trash Takedown.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's right there, Nick Cartoon Universe. Do something like awesome with it. Either way, they already finished these up. So this CGI animated thing is going to be pretty interesting to say. I don't know how it's going to really do well. Either way, it's just pretty much short. So I'm guessing this is just more for the animators to actually have fun while they reference some old Nicktoons and things like that. Either way, it's like an sort of series that I'm going to be watching. It's only 3 minutes long. It's not going to be that bad. Not going to be that groundbreaking for me to watch. either way, yeah.
Yeah, those are meant to be fun little shorts. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Nothing more, nothing less. Correct. All right. So, besides that, if you guys are into the Portal Chasers, just head over to the YouTube channel, Nick Cartoon Universe. The first two episodes are there, so check it out if you have the time. All right. Last but not least, last thing we want to talk about is, well, football season's right in the air right now. Your Raiders are playing right now against the Kansas City Chiefs. My Niners are playing against the LA Rams tomorrow. But here's the thing, though. Every freaking week on Nickelodeon, they have this brand new show called Nick Slime Time, where you obviously get to see all the highlights of the NFL games, along with some Nickelodeon shenanigans. What I love about this, though, in NFL Slime Time, is the fact that Lincoln Loud is actually featured in it. Like, he's literally going to have a segment, and he pretty much shows off the MVP, which is like the Nickelodeon Valuable Player. So it's like an MVP, but Nickelodeonized. They have already given it off to a couple of players like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott. What was it? Josh Allen from the Jaguars. Many other players.
I recently saw Josh Allen getting slimed.
Yeah, I know. And they also got Derrick Henry from the Tennessee Titans, who actually ended up getting the MVP as well. And I love the videos that they pop up saying like, I got the trophy, and they get slimed, or they get like silly stringed, or a bunch of other things. So I really love the videos when the reactions come up. So really awesome to see that. But nonetheless, those MVPs are presented by Lincoln Loud himself. So with the fact that Lincoln Loud is actually in this, how do you like it that Lincoln is actually featured in this show?
Even though I never really seen much of NFL Slime Time, to be honest, I do love and admire the fact that they had Lincoln Loud featured because, first off, Loud House representation, yay. Genuine yay. Number two, it's a sign that, the Loud House, like, aside from SpongeBob, like, let's say if it wasn't for SpongeBob, the Loud House would definitely be Nickelodeon's #1 poster boy, like the staple child.
I think they're really moving on to, like, I get it. SpongeBob is going to be the main feature. I mean, the fact that they keep on putting SpongeBob references everywhere in this show as well. I mean, they have a segment called The Best Play Ever, which is literally the best day ever, but best play ever, which I thought was like pretty clever. Yeah. But here's the other thing too. Every time you watch those highlights, you get to see you get to see the character references that are in like Nicktoons. You actually see a lot of like Casa Grandes. You see a lot of Loud House. You see a lot of like TMNT, Middlemost Post. I mean, this week we even saw Clifford, the Big Red Dog.
Big Red Dog.
Just because they're promoting it for Paramount Plus. I saw that coming. So it's just pretty cool to actually just sit back, watch 30 minutes of like how your highlights are, and even see an interview from. Okay, by the way, the Dylan Schefter, she's Adam Schefter's daughter. The fact that she actually cosplays as Luann for Halloween was actually pretty amazing. And I didn't expect that. I'm like, I didn't know that you were a Loud House fan, but I didn't expect you to actually like cosplay as Luann, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. We have like a relative of an NFL player dressed as a Loud House character.
NFL analyst Adam Schefter.
Or NFL analyst, my bad. Analyst.
Yeah. So, well, either way,
you have a relative of an NFL analyst cosplay as Loud House character. I was like, awesome, yes. I mean, I dressed up as a Loud House character myself for Halloween. I was Lynn Loud, so that's another factor that is a major plus for me. It's like more Loud House, cosplays for Halloween. Yes, and still, nonetheless, I mean, the fact that hey, we featured Lincoln Loud, we featured Casagrandes, so it's to say the least, they're at least making it relevant that Loud House and Casagrandes are still like awesome in Nickelodeon. Although to be fair, though, I have seen a lot of other like Nicktoons getting shafted. Like, say for example, it's Pody didn't really have a lot of stuff right now. Yeah, they really are kind of deleting it now. Really disappointed by the move. It's like that is a that's not a good move at all, Nick. That's a very bad move. Pony deserved better. Its Pony deserved so much better.
So you can check out Nick's NFL Slime Time every Wednesday at 8:00 on Nickelodeon, featuring Nate Burleson and Young Dylan. Like I said, you also do have Lincoln Loud, who also does the MVPs. You see Dylan Schefter, who does the NFL analysis. By the way, Dylan Schefter did interview Darren Waller from the Raiders, if you haven't seen that one yet.
I actually haven't seen that one.
You should check it out, by the way.
I didn't see it.
You should check it out because he actually did a really good SpongeBob impersonation.
I gotta see it. Darren Waller is my boy. Like, He's my favorite Raider, man. I'm gonna check him out.
Definitely. So I'm trying to let you know, NFL fans, please watch it because it actually is really fun to watch. All right, without further ado, let's head over to our main subject, which is the big Loud House movie review. So let's get straight to it. I know you all been waiting for it for so long, so let's get straight to it. So the Loud House movie debuted in August of this year, and to an extent, it had positive reviews all throughout the community, for the fans to moviegoers everywhere. So Omid, after you saw the film, in like one short phrase, how would you explain the film, the Loud House movie?
Like my thoughts on it?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on it? Like,
Okay.
like if you're just gonna give like one sentence or one phrase, how would you say it?
If one thing I have to say about it, it's just, so wholesome, so genuine. Just everything about it is just awesome. Honestly, this is my favorite movie of 2021, hands down.
Wow, that's saying a lot, actually.
My favorite movie of 2021 is the Loud House movie.
I thought,
and I've seen a lot of movies.
I thought Mitchell vs. Machines would actually take over your best animated movie.
Well, because the Loud House movie is specifically for us, and the reason why I say that, well, we're gonna touch upon that like right now, like because we're talking about the movie right now.
Exactly. All right. Well, yeah. Let's get straight to it. You know what? If I were to phrase it in one thing, I would say all around like a perfect. I would say like perfect movie, but more like a well-rounded movie that I thought was actually like hit every point of it all. Like there's a problem, there's a solution, and it all got resolved at the end. To say the least, I would say the movie did really like do well as a cartoon, like animated kids movie. So I have no problems with it. I thought it was actually great. So by the way, why we call it a big Loud House movie review is the fact that we're going to be breaking down everything from the beginning all the way to the end. So that's why we're here for a long night tonight. All right.
So grab your Bawito toes and watch us dissect this movie, like talk about each and every scene. So let's go.
Yeah, let's head straight to it. So let's actually start it off with the introduction of the film, because the thing is that, Life is Better Loud is pretty much the song that is pretty much background, like blaring in the background. It begins with Lynn Sr. and Rita meeting up for the first time, getting married, having their 11 kids. Hence, the Loud House was born. So what things stood out to you when you saw the introduction to this movie?
Oh my God. What things didn't stand out to me when I saw introduction to the movie? That's the question. Just, my God, everything about this introduction was just pure perfection. The cameos by Kotaro, Flip, and Mr. Grouse were a really nice touch. Rita and Lynn Sr. meeting at the crossroad, just like in the flashback L is for Love. Rita and Lynn Sr. on a date, them getting married, them buying the house from Kevin Sullivan, them having their 11 kids, and seeing baby versions of the 10 older siblings. Plus, you got the older siblings having fun with Baby Lincoln. Them staring at Baby Lincoln like, oh my God, that picture of Baby Lincoln is just, oh my God. Like, we brought the blessing, like Baby Lincoln is a blessing to this world. We just love it. We just like, oh my God, it's Baby Lincoln's precious. And then you see like and you see like a scrapbook of the younger siblings being born. Lucy, for some reason, we'd still never see her eyes, even as a baby. We see like Lola and Lana being born. And if you look closely at it, like you see Rita dressing up in this blue tank, in which is a hand-me-down for Lori, which is sort of referenced in Hand-Me-Downers. So nice continuity.
The blue girdle that she was talking about. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
the blue girdle. Like, it used to be Rita, but she handed it down to Lori, according to Hand-Me-Downers. So that's a nice touch of continuity right there. And also, that song, Life is Better Loud is so catchy.
I think
it really grabs you. It really grabs you into the movie.
Yeah, it really was like the best part of the movie. Like, I would say the song definitely was the best part, but definitely the introduction overall entirely. Just the fact that, hey, we're having continuity here, which, we've always been complaining in the Loud House for such a long time. They actually brought continuity, but actually bringing L is for Love references back. So they literally followed along. I feel like the director, I know the director is brand new to the Loud House, so he literally did his homework and actually looked back at L is for Love and actually portrayed the scene all over again where Rita met up with Lynn Sr. and continued to give love notes and eventually they met up in Bangers and Mosh, and then they ended up getting married, having kids. Nonetheless, it was just the great way to say it. It was all good to
Yes.
say. I mean, like seriously though, like the fact that they have this whole entire family and everything is just pretty much all coordinated all together. Like everything went all down to the wire. Everything was down correct. The song overall in the background just pretty much made everything all like lively, very happy mood to say.
Exactly. It sets up the tone and the mood for the entire movie and the entire atmosphere, like pretty much like the entire Loud House universe as a whole. I do like how the movie, like, you don't even have to watch the series before watching the movie to really know who
Yeah,
these characters are,
that's the thing
because
about
that's a beautiful thing about this, is that the movie itself, like by the introduction, like the movie itself introduces you to these characters.
and that's the thing about it too. Like, I can feel like some people who just go into Netflix and say like, "Oh, Loud House movie, let's go ahead and check it out." Obviously, they don't know. Some of them may not know what the Loud House is. So what they do is just go through this introduction, pretty much telling them like, "Oh, how did Rita and Lynn meet up, and then have these 11 kids?" So there you go. It's pretty much all short forecasts. It's pretty much all showed in this 3-hour introduction. And either way, like everything was pretty much all subpar to say. Like it was all in the points. Like it said who got born first: Lori, Lenny, then Luna, then Luann, then Lynn, then Lincoln, and then you have the rest of them also get born as well. So everything was absolutely coordinated correctly. Even if it was only for 3 minutes long, it still was something informative for everybody to check out, so the audience can actually catch up on like what the Loud House is. So there you go. I feel like the introduction was absolutely like the great way to actually start it off with the movie.
And it ends with the song ends with Lily appearing, like similar to how you have the Loud House title, like and then you have the Loud House title with the black background, and
Yeah,
then you have Lily's just slapping the title slap right there,
which is putting like
and
you're pretty much putting
and
up like the castle and making it a movie,
and
which is a
and then
movie.
she
It is a movie.
and then with Lily be like
Well, then again, you keep on seeing like Lily just keeps saying like poo poo throughout every time we always watch the Loud House. This time around, she just like stays there and just says, "This is a movie, not a TV show, not an episode we
exactly.
all gonna enjoy."
Yes, it's just, oh my god, one of the
Okay,
best openings I've ever seen in film.
okay, so one thing I also want to bring up too is the fact that we actually never expected this. Like the introduction was going to just pretty much introduce Rita and Lynn Sr. together, having those 11 kids. But I didn't expect to actually see Lynn Sr. actually meet up with Kotaro, for example. I didn't know he would actually, there's a young Kotaro in this movie, or a Mr. Grouse, or a very young Mr. Grouse, by the way. I didn't expect to see that. Or Flip, for example. Oh, I didn't know Flip was actually still alive back then.
I'm in the movie, Chief. I'm in the
Okay,
movie,
so
Chief.
the thing about this though, he at least gets referenced. He didn't have a line. All right, can you all agree with me? Y'all hate Flip, but he didn't have a line. Okay.
Yes, yes. Another point for the Loud House movie. Like, Flip doesn't talk in the movie. I'm just like, thank you. We don't need to hear any of his move, Chief, coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, right, Chief. Okay, no respect to no, I mean respect to John DiMaggio, by the way. He's a great
Oh
voice
yeah,
actor.
John DiMaggio, I really like. Like, no disrespect to John DiMaggio, legendary actor. His character Flip, on the other hand, not so legendary.
Just because of that. Look, everybody hates Flip. I understand that. But the thing is that the fact that they reference him in this movie, it's okay. I'm okay with this, okay? The fact that we actually bring like old, like secondary characters and a younger version of the secondary characters in this movie that tells you like, oh, continuity. Wait, Lynn Sr. likes Kotaro, is his best friend. Flip is everywhere in the Loud House. Mr. Grouse is their neighbor. Not yet in this flashback, but still. I mean, it's just going to be great. Just the fact that they continue, like, it's just the way that they portray it first, like the way that they just immediately put it through the introduction just tells you like, we know what you're thinking about, Loud Crowd. The continuity is there, guys. We got you.
They got us, and they got us good.
And I was, like I said, I was pretty happy. So to say the least, the introduction really did do a great job of like making the Loud House movie already amazing as it is. All right, so all right, if we're gonna continue talking about that, we're gonna have like another like 10 to 15 minutes to discuss about this introduction. But let's move on. Let's just move on. Let's move on to the first scene after the introduction, where we get to see Lincoln being the big brother, where Lincoln and Lily were pretty much just chilling in Lincoln's bed. and Lincoln is pretty much teaching Lily on how to, and how to pretty much like avoid the sisters when it comes to breakfast burritos. Um, how great was this moment when you saw? Yeah, how great was this moment when you saw them together? Just like this, where Lincoln is pretty much like being the big brother to Lily, as Lily tries to get those big breakfast burritos.
Oh my god, I really love that they brought back the Lincoln and Lily dynamic, where you got Lincoln showing Lily how to get those burrito toes,
Burrito toes.
from the clutches of their sisters. And of course, the dynamic still stays strong throughout the movie. It never wanes down, and that's what I love about this. Now, I want to share a little headcanon to you all. While Lincoln says that he doesn't have a favorite sister, he loves them equally, of course. That's what he would say. But, however, I firmly believe that deep down, he chooses Lily as his favorite sister. Because when you do think about it, it's the sister that he has had the least amount of fights and conflicts with. Well, mainly because Lily's a baby. And this movie especially emphasizes how truly special Lincoln and Lily's sibling relationship is. Like, yeah, Lincoln loves his sisters, and he has had a bond with each and every single one of them, especially in the series, don't get me wrong. But I feel like, especially in this movie, and especially in, like, season 1 and in season 5 later on, like, Lincoln's, like, some of Lincoln's most heartfelt brotherly moments are with Lily, in my own opinion.
I think that's, I mean, like, you could go back into like Changing the Baby, for example, where Lincoln and Lily, have their interaction, but it would be more of just Lincoln taking advantage of Lily just because, want to grow him up to be good, to make Lily grow up like Lincoln, for example. That was a different episode compared to like this, for example, this movie, where like Lincoln actually like is raising Lily to become like what he is. He's not going to raise him up to be like a comic book loving person, to say. At least this time around, he's just teaching Lily like how to avoid like the breakfast rush and things like that. And this dynamic, by the way, just pretty much tells you from the beginning how it's going to be, because throughout the movie you're going to see Lincoln and Lily a lot together, and it feels like this sibling relationship is totally strong in the movie.
Definitely. Now, with regards to Changing the Baby, some may argue that it is Lincoln sort of taking advantage of Lily's baby mind, trying to morph her into a mini version of him. And while it does seem like that at first, I could personally argue that there's actually much more to Lincoln's relationship with Lily in Changing the Baby than that. I think, like, as time passes on, the more time he spends with Lily, the more, he generally loves spending time with her, the more and more genuine their bond grows. And this is season 1 Lincoln I'm talking about, of course. So,
remember, this is season 1, where season 1 Lincoln is pretty much like, maybe a little immature as a
yeah, but I could argue Changing the Baby is one of Lincoln's better moments in season 1. But that's just me. And the movie itself is no different.
Then again, though, it's like this totally compares to two different tones, because Lincoln was taking advantage of Lily just because he wanted her to act like Lincoln, for example. This time around, this is more of like Lincoln giving advice to Lily to avoid the breakfast rush for the burrito toast, so that she really wants to have. So it's like Lincoln giving advice to Lily, which I thought was like absolutely wholesome. It's not like Kid Changes the Baby, for example, where he's just taking advantage of Lily.
Okay, one thing I can agree with you there is that, hands down, the movie, like the way they established Lincoln and Lily's relationship in the movie is, I have to admit, more wholesome than Changing the Baby. It is more wholesome.
Mm-hmm. So I must say, nonetheless, I mean, like I said, the dynamic always begins with the movie. Do you agree, Omid, that the dynamic of the movie is supposed to start at the beginning of the movie?
Yes, it is, because it further establishes on not just Lincoln and Lily's relationship, but it further establishes already the kind of role that Lily is going to play in the movie itself. Like, in this entire movie, out of all the sisters, Lily Loud has the most important role out of all the sisters.
Definitely, and you could definitely see that as the movie continues along, by the way. Nonetheless, I mean, we're not going to talk about this for a lot. It's just pretty much just Lincoln and Lily just pretty much like bonding, and of course having the sisters just try to get the breakfast burritos. But as we move on to the next scene, we get to see like the sisters have their own like things that they have to do, and of course the planning turns out to be all bad, which means Rita and Lynn are obviously saying like, "Oh, we're gonna panic, cat panic, blah blah blah." What was best of all is the fact that Lincoln actually has a plan to actually get through all the sisters like routines to get through the entire day to say. This is more of Lincoln being like the responsible brother. Because as allows get breakfast, turns out all of them we have plans, but with Lincoln in command, they'll be able to get their tasks done for the day in a timely manner. Here we will have a sequence of each Loud sister doing what they do and would be rewarded for it. So explain your thoughts about each sister's experience. Did you like the fact that each of them really did show each sister's like best expertise? Like Lori in golf, Lenny in fashion, Luna in music, Luann in comedy, all that stuff.
Yes, I did, because one reason I really loved it is it's just because, like I mentioned before, in the introduction song, like the sisters experience scenes like where they show the best expertise. It's a really great way for the movie to introduce non-fans to each and every single one of the Loud sisters and what makes them tick. So that's what I really love about the movie, is that they show that another one of those aspects where it's like, since like there might be some viewers who haven't seen the Loud House series, so let's introduce each and every single one of these characters and tell them what makes them tick. Okay, now before I get to what I consider to be the best, and I do mean best cameo in the movie, in my opinion, I want to break down each and every single one of these sisters' expertise. Here I go. Lori not overthinking it, relaxing it and sinking it. That was good stuff. Lenny, of course, being the fashionista we love. Luann nailing it with the puns. Lynn shoots, Lynn scores.
You're making me skip this because you want Luna. You want Luna last.
Lola being the pageant queen, we all know. Lisa nailing her science theory thing. And now, the best part of the entire segment, the best part, Luna playing with her band, with band members we don't know. I mean, where's the moon goes? Who are these guys? Anyway, and there it is. Sam Sharp, her girlfriend, is there watching her. Oh my God, Sam is in the movie. Yes, let's go. Sam Sharp is in the movie.
Sam is in the movie. Yes, Sam is in the movie.
And she's there to show moral support. Look at that.
They put the reference.
Look at that.
I look at the reference. I'm like, yes. I love it. The fact that they actually reference Luna and Sam are together. And you know what? This is going to be a thing now. Like after season 3, Luna and Sam are together. Look at the episodes of Loud House. And the fact that Sam is actually having more significance in season 5. She has her own episode with Lana, for example. And the fact that she actually the fact that she's actually implemented in the movie, it just tells me like, yeah, you know what, Sam, make Sam a main character, maybe. make her like as lovable like Clyde, for example.
Bro, 10 out of 10, baby. This movie is a 10 out of 10 as of right now. Like,
is Omid making a rating right now because Sam is in it?
Bro, like from the saying, like this is automatically a perfect movie. This is automatically 10 out of 10. Let's go.
She's only appeared for like 2 seconds, and Omid already gave it a 10 out of 10. I think I remember this correctly, but we were watching it together like at midnight, when the movie came out on Netflix. I think when we first saw Sam come up, I think Omid was like, yes, it's a perfect 10 already. Sam is there. Oh my God.
See, this is 2 seconds of pure cinematic.
It was just only one showing of Sam. I mean, if there was actually going to have like a Sam and Luna moment, they would actually just hug and then they skip the next scene.
This is 2 seconds of perfect cinema. This is 2 seconds of beautiful filmmaking. And 2 seconds of just flawless filmmaking. 2 seconds of perfect filmmaking.
And the fact that like it's continuity showing again. Hey, Luna has a girlfriend named Sam. There she is.
Let's go.
Okay. Still though, I mean, anything else? Okay. The thing is that though, throughout this whole like series, you get to see Lincoln pretty much like being the guide throughout the whole entire like sequence here, where everybody has their appointments to say. I'll go back to the beginning here, and I'll just show you like Lori, for example, who loves golf. Lenny Loud, who loves fashion. Can I do this? Yeah. Besides Sam. Yes, Luna in rock and roll. Luna into rock and roll. Luann winning a comedy, a comedy. By the way, where is this located? Chortle Portal. Remember Low Laughing Matter? Continuity.
Yep. Perfect
So
continuity right there.
that's a perfect continuity moment there. It was in Shortle Portal. Lynn winning soccer game. Lucy winning her Mortician's Club. Which, by the way, I don't know if that's haiku. People are saying that's haiku, and I'm kind of like, that's a younger haiku to me.
Yeah, that's definitely. While it doesn't look like Haikyuu, I'm going to be honest. It looks more like a relative of Haikyuu's. It could be Haikyuu's
looks like
sister.
haiku. It looks like haiku to me. It's gonna be a different fashion way of haiku, I guess. Either way, they made her look like that. Lola with her pageant. Lana winning. By the way, Bobby Fletcher, another continuity part here. What?
Yeah,
well, she was now part of Bobby Fletcher's pit crew. When did this happen?
Honestly, didn't Bobby Fletcher say that Lana will be part of her pit crew when she grows up, like in Snow Way Out?
So growing up means 1 year later, and now she's a part of the pit crew.
No, I mean, like, I thought it generally meant like when Lana's
she did.
Adult,
well, she did say it. No wait, she did say it. Snow Way Down. So it's
Snow Way Out. Snow Way Out.
Oh, Snow Way Out. But nonetheless, she's still appearing over there as Bobby Fletcher's pit crew. So I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know about that.
And then you got Lisa.
They got Lisa winning her prize. That was pretty much it. But either way, look, behind the scenes of it all, who brought them to their appointments and ended up getting their awards? Lincoln Loud. That's the point of it all. Lincoln is actually the main guy who actually has a plan and gets everybody's day done. So that's, I think, was the most important part here. Where, like, say, for example, the family's in panic, Lincoln's there to pretty much make a plan and get everything all situated. So that's what I love about this, the fact that Lincoln is actually having a plan, knowing what to do here.
He's called Man with a Plan for a reason.
Most definitely. And yeah, I mean, this tells you, like, how awesome Lincoln is, especially, like, in this part here. Now, here's the other thing, too, though. With all the sisters getting all their awards, Lincoln would end up at the bottom of the barrel, unfortunately. Hence him going in song thinking that he's just an ordinary kid. A regular, ordinary him. Not as important like his sisters, for example. So first off, we got a lot of questions on this one. First off, Omid, how did you like the song sung by Asher Bishop, Ordinary Me? Because that was fucking awesome.
I'm going to say right now, Asher Bishop's voice is a gift from God. Like, oh my God, Asher Bishop has a knack for Broadway. Let me tell you that. So honestly, from a voice acting performance level, like, oh my God, it is just pure Broadway. It's just, oh my God, it's just so beautiful. And like how the song is incorporated into the story, I felt that it was done very well because like with musicals, like what musicals tend to do is that they show the characters' vulnerabilities, they show the characters' personal feelings and all that stuff. This is no exception. Like Lincoln Loud, as he's singing along the streets, sort of like Singing in the Rain or West Side Story style, you can hear him sing like how much he's really sad that he's not extraordinary, that he's not special compared to his sisters. Because when you do think of each and every Loud sibling and their special knack, what makes them special, with Lori, when you think of Lori, you think of golf. When you think Lenny, the first thing that comes up is fashion, Luna with music, Luann with comedy, Lynn with sports, etc., etc. But the thing with Lincoln is that while he does have many interests, like let's say magic, comic books, and all this stuff, like those are just small things that make him special. Like he doesn't really have that one big thing that makes him stand out, at least in comparison to that one special thing that his sisters do have. But one thing that I do like about this is that we do sympathize with him, because we ourselves have been in a situation where we have been in someone else's shadow, where we wish we had that one knack or one special thing that they had. So you could definitely relate to Lincoln in that sense.
I feel bad for Lincoln. There's the fact that like he doesn't have much of a talent. Like, yeah, he might be into magic, he might be into comic books, he might be into like other things, but he doesn't have the talent like Lori has for golf, for Lynn for all kinds of sports, or Lana for mechanics, or Lola for pageantry. This kind of tells you that maybe Lincoln is that ordinary kid, and that's why the song comes up. So it's like, ordinary, you might be right, because Lincoln is just what magic. Just it doesn't really point out to say that you're the best in that. Into comic books, everyone loves comic books. Into baking, Clyde is into baking. So it just tells you like maybe yeah, Lincoln could be an ordinary kid. And in that song, she pretty much says like, "Am I always gonna be a regular ordinary me?" Which I understand Lincoln's point here. Lincoln is like so saddened the fact that like he doesn't have a talent, he doesn't have an award that shows off and says, "Hey, I'm also good at this as well," which is pretty much what happened in the beginning in this whole sequence where the Loud sisters end up getting trophies. Lincoln doesn't have that, and of course it makes sense for Lincoln to be all like sad about it, just because I don't have any like trophy or anything to actually make me feel like extraordinary to say. So I feel for Lincoln in this, and no doubt about it, he definitely. I mean, the song was amazing. At the same time, I also feel sad for him considering that. Oh yeah, I understand. You're just an ordinary kid. You're not like your sisters who are extraordinary, who have their own talents. I feel bad for Lincoln in that part. I'm like, damn it, I don't want to cry now, but I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you go and hit me with this right now?
It didn't help that Scoots was sort of like rubbing the salt in the wound also, when she was like, "Oh no, no trophy," like all that stuff.
No, I know. Well, then again, it's Scoots being Scoots. Scoots is kind of like a mean person to say.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, this isn't the worst thing that Scoots has ever done. I mean, if you look back on Flip Miss Carol, she is the one who created Flip.
Well, she's the one who made Flip. Exactly. So she's the one who made Flip. So you have to blame Scoots for why Flip is like that.
Exactly. So like this is still not the worst thing that she's done, but it's still that the point was like, really, Scoots, really?
No, here's the other thing too about it. I understand that Lincoln goes to Clyde for support and all, but I believe Clyde kind of like made it worse to say because he's also good at baking.
I mean, he didn't do it intentionally. He was trying to help in this scene. But then well, his prizes stuff are on the wall and all that stuff.
It tells you that he's a good baker. We get it. He also showed his baking in what is it? Save not Brave the Last Dance. Yes, we get it. He's a good baker.
Yeah. So while Clyde was trying to help Lincoln, unfortunately, like the way that he shared his cream puffs with Lincoln, made Lincoln even sadder. So it's just like, yeah, Clyde, you could have.
I get it. Lincoln was so sad.
If you wanted to cheer up Lincoln, you could have done it in a different way. I'm just saying.
Here's the other thing too about this scene here. Now Clyde actually goes and breaks it down and says that, hey, I got my skill from my ancestors in France. So he goes back and he pretty much says like, I went with my aunt Nana Gale, which by the way is the first time we actually saw Nana Gale in this movie.
Yes. First time since Resident Upheaval.
Just remember, Resident Upheaval was season 5. Remember, this is supposed to be airing between season 4 and 5. So this is actually the first time we actually saw Nana Gale.
Okay, yeah, from a timeline perspective, yeah, from a timeline point of view, yeah, it's definitely the first time.
Now, here's the thing about this though. This scene that's actually pretty important. The fact that like Clyde says, "Hey, I went to France and I noticed I actually have a skill in baking for since my ancestors also were good at baking." This brings Lincoln to say, "Hey, where are our relatives from?" Brought the idea for them to go figure out where they're from. So I would say the least that, yeah, Clyde, you may be good at cooking, but at the same time, you actually helped your friend out at the end. Do you agree with this, Omid?
Yeah, honestly. So yeah, technically, like after Clyde unintentionally made things worse for Lincoln, Clyde actually did turn around and actually, like you said, he actually did help him in a way by saying that like he got his baking skills from his ancestors, which did help inspire Lincoln to find his own ancestors so that his ancestors can inspire him to find his one talent the way that Clyde's ancestors helped him. So honestly, yeah, props to Clyde for that.
So yeah, this now comes into a situation where we kind of figure out who the heck are the Louds. Now the thing is that Rita would immediately just answer saying like, "Oh, my family's from Royal Woods," but Lynn Sr. doesn't actually know where they're from. So after experience with Lisa, they would find out they were from Scotland. And soon the travel to Scotland would commence. So explain your thoughts here, because they were going to have a big excursion for them to actually head to Scotland. How did you feel about the whole excursion for the Louds getting to Scotland?
Oh my God. So honestly, so you got the Louds getting ready for bed and all this stuff. Then you got Lincoln pretty much bringing up the fact that, there could be like the ancestors somewhere. And so after Lisa, pretty much in a comedic way, does many experiments and antics, to Lynn Sr. to pretty much get the DNA. Why didn't she just get him to spin in the cup? Oh, wait. Lisa actually said, there's a scientific word for that. Boring. And so it's revealed that the Louds are actually originated from Scotland. And so how they get to Scotland is that there's this sequence of transportations. And let me tell you, that whole sequence, oh my God, it was like watching a 5-minute trailer of Around the World in 80 Days. And they go everywhere. And I mean everywhere. It's also demonstrated in a map scene. And let me just say this, the map scene is top notch. I love how the items interact in the scene, giving the map a sense of movement and drive. They also help represent each country in terms of what they are mainly about and what are their staple items. Like, first of all, for example, you got the Eiffel Tower and the bread representing France. And they travel in many ways too, including an airplane, a hot air balloon, and a submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine. And that's how they arrive in Scotland.
So I love the whole sequence, especially with the fact that there actually is a song behind it all. They actually put Now or Never behind it all. And the way they travel, look, I understand they were actually low in money and stuff like that. So what they did, they end up getting the low class ticket, then parachuted out into, parachuted out into Europe. Took a train to pretty much everywhere, took a hot air balloon, and pretty much went to a submarine in order for them to get to Scotland, for example. It's not like a straight direct route for them to go to Scotland. Nonetheless, it was a pretty exciting route for them to get through. But the fact that they actually are Scottish was actually pretty interesting. And a little bit out of the blue, do you think? Like, oh, we didn't expect you to be Scottish.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I mentioned before that, wait, they're Scottish. Aren't they like British or something like that? But then technically, isn't Scotland part of like the United Kingdom in a sense, or bordered?
Yeah, they are. They are in the UK.
Kingdom? Okay, so technically, it's still there. Technically, so we just expected it to be more British than Scottish, but.
Nonetheless, I mean, I thought the whole sequence of them going through Scotland was pretty fun. Look, they're like getting into a submarine, trying to get there to Scotland. They went to a hot air balloon. They even parachuted out of an airplane. So they did all it take for them to actually make it to Scotland to at least get their ancestors. Nonetheless, they were having a vacation. They're having a fun time. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that would explain Lynn Sr.'s love for cowbell and love for UK.
Yeah, good thing.
And also Luna's
he likes
British accent.
He likes British stuff. He likes British stuff. So I didn't know like Scotland would be like something British. I thought it would be like England would be like his ancestors like love. But instead,
yeah, I kind of expected to be England instead of Scotland. It's like Scotland was a bit out of the blue. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's still United Kingdom. I would expect him to be more British. That's the fact that he loves British stuff. Like he literally wears like one of those big black hats during one of those episodes, like Steady Muffin, for example. So yeah. I would say like, yeah, maybe you love into the British stuff. I thought you were actually English, but whatever. Scottish works, I guess. So after all these sequences, they did arrive in Scotland, and it looks pretty beautiful. They went to this brand new town. They arrived in Scotland, and they go around seeing the sights that the land has. But first, Laurie would call Bobby, which would give us a scene in the Mercado where Bobby would go to Scotland after some miscommunication. Thought that Laurie was going to break up with him. And after a talk with Ronnie Ann, by the way, so we have the Casa Grandes having their first appearance here.
Here we go.
He would go and
more
take
cameos
his path to Scotland. So first, how excited were you to see the Casa Grandes in the movie? And how excited were the Casa Grandes appearance in the movie? Like they only appeared for like only 1 minute, but they did help out. Like, I mean, it's just more of a comedy sequence with those two, actually.
Okay, so after we got a cameo from Sam Sharp, which I consider to be 2 seconds of brilliant filmmaking, now we got more cameos coming up with Bobby and Ronnie, and let's go. Oh heck yeah! Because we've been waiting for a Ronnie Ann cameo specifically. We were all like, "When's Ronnie Ann coming to Loud House movie? When's Ronnie Ann coming to Loud House movie?" But we finally got it right there.
Now I'm kind of like was surprised. I'm like maybe something big. We were thinking like there was gonna be something big where like Ronnie Ann will actually go to Scotland, but no, that wasn't the case. She literally just gave he literally just gave Bobby advice. That was pretty much it. Like Ronnie An's role was just pretty much giving Bobby advice, like, "Hey, don't let Lori leave. Go to Scotland, Bobby," which he was able to do and just ride on bike. So that was their only appearance. Nonetheless, there's your reference that the Casa Grandes still exists in the Loud House, and they actually did appear in the Loud House movie, which was I think it was more of like fan service there because it's like, oh yes, the Casa Grandes are here, Ronnie An's in the movie.
Yeah,
they're not gonna satisfy us with the fact that like, oh, why can't Ronnie Ann and like Lincoln actually hang out in Scotland together? No, they're just gonna give us this one Casa Grandes Mercado scene. That's it. They only gave us this. They didn't give us more than that. Oh, I thought we would give us more than that.
Exactly, man. But hey, I think we'll take it. Honestly, it's better than nothing. Like, I really do love, especially how like Ronnie Ann is innocently eating her, popsicle.
Yeah.
And then it's like, did Lori just break up with you? Well,
Yeah.
don't just stand there. You can't listen.
Well,
Oh, the guy be her boo-boo bear. And it's like, that's literally all Ronnie Ann says. Like, honestly, I think what really disappoints me about it the most is that Ronnie Ann's cameo had jack all to do with Lincoln. Like, she had nothing to do with Lincoln in this movie.
It was just more of like, hey, Ronnie Ann is there. All right, there you go, Loud House fans.
I think even Ronnie Ann knows it too. Like after Bobby leaves, Ronnie Ann just stares at the screen like a bit of a fourth wall joke, and she's like, "Wait, that's it? That's all I have to do with the movie?"
Oh, I love that. I think it was like breaking the fourth wall there. He just looks at the fact that, yeah.
It's like, okay, Dave, my man, what do I do next? Come on, give me another scene. Give me the scene with Lincoln, goddammit. I want to.
Oh, actually,
like, I think internally she was like begging for her scene with Lincoln, and we were too.
I forgot we actually had this scene up here. That was pretty cute. Like Ronnie Ann is just sucking down her ice pop, and she said like, then she just pops up and said like, did Lori just break up with you? Go back to Scotland. Oh man. I took a lot of photos, by the way. So yeah, she ended up doing that. Either way, they are in Scotland, by the way. So as they scurry around Scotland, the Louds would be in town. That is really confusing to say the least. At the same time, Letty found a guy named Scott whom she would be interested in. Let's get to the point here. By the way, there's a new ship in the movie. Letty would never had a crush since Chaz, but now that Scott came in, where is it? There you go. Now that Scott came in, whom she really has the hearts for, did you think that this is necessary in the film? Did you think it was necessary to actually see Scott in this film and actually have Lenny have a love interest in him? And are you now a Scott Tenny shipper?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in Scotland, where Chazzenny comes to die. Yes, folks, like, this is the death of Chazzenny right here. So, rip Chazzenny. Moment of silence for Chazzenny. Okay, anyway, now with Lenny and Scott's relationship, I felt that particular side plot really does help give Lenny something to do, like, as her own character, aside from just being Lincoln's sister who is into fashion. Like, I really do like how it helps give Lenny a good amount of her screen time. And like, aside from Lily, well, actually, Lily, Lucy, and Lenny are the three sisters who have the most to do in this movie. And with Lucy, we're going to touch upon that later. But yes, I actually found this particular relationship to be just really sweet all around, and just the fact that Scott is kind of a ditz himself. So honestly, in a way,
kind of works together, right?
They are perfect for each other now, in a sense. And just, my God, look at the scene of them blushing. Just look at that. That's just beautiful.
I thought that was really cute, actually. Just just the fact that Letty just sees him for the first time, and then Scott was also likes her as well. Them blushing like that. It was just love at first sight. That's what people say. Nonetheless, I mean, I understand. Like, I believe Lenny was overdue for a ship. Like, who are we going to ship Lenny with? Chaz? Well, not a lot of Chaz popped up in season 2 or season 3 of The Loud House, for example. So now we get to see her with Scott, and I think it actually did work out. It kind of like tells the answer for everybody who's like a Lenny fan. Say like, who does Lenny ship with? And maybe the Scott guy can actually work out perfectly. So to say the least, maybe long overdue, but nonetheless, Lenny now has a boyfriend, now has a potential like partner with Scott, and it looks like it's working out so far. Looking at how the movie went, by the way. So yeah, sorry, Chazzetti fans. Now,
Yep.
let's talk about the town. What kind of wacky things you thought were like funny around the town?
I think like there were two particular things that I found really hilarious throughout this entire town scene. One, of course, is Lenny calling everyone Scott because they're in Scotland. It's like, hi Scott, hi Scott, hi Scott.
Well, that's Lady for you. Lady would usually just say that. Like,
Lenny.
why are you saying everybody Scott? Because we're in Scotland.
hi Scott Pilgrim.
Oh God.
But and then Lori's like, Lenny, why are you calling everyone Scott? And Lenny's like, it's Scotland, duh. And then of course, another really hilarious scene, like legit hilarious, where you got two buildings. One is fish, the other is chips. Like fish and chips are two
separate actually collect it together
businesses.
And actually make it fish and chips.
They're arguing over each other, despite the fact that they're called fish and chips for a good reason.
I mean, like, if you want fish separately, I guess it's fine, but I love it with fries, like chips.
Exactly. They're complimentary. They're complimentary.
I love the fact that they're actually a married couple, and they actually have their own separate, like they have their own separate stands there. Businesses.
Yeah, they're separate businesses. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait until the end. We will talk more about that at the end, though. All right. So here's the thing, though. After the town discovered the Louds, they just figured out that they're royalty. After the town finds out them, Angus, who would introduce them to the town, which was Loch Loud, whom their ancestors named the town after. They even had a castle, which they would see and realize that the family was actually really royalty. So first off, what were your first impressions on Angus as he walks and talks around Loud's involvements with Loch Loud?
Angus, woo!
Okay, this is not DuckTales. This is not DuckTales.
Angus, woo!
This is not DuckTales. Okay. We're gonna probably get copyright by Disney.
in all seriousness, though, Disney, please don't come after us. In all seriousness, though, he definitely left a good impression on me. Not just because he's voiced by David Tennant, but also, even by first appearance, he actually looks to be a really friendly guy already. We've seen how helpful he is towards the town as a groundskeeper. And what I like is that he treats the Louds as part of the village, despite the fact that the Louds just arrived.
He's just one of those like really awesome guys. And the other thing too is like when you first saw him, he literally was trying to help a person get down from the second floor because there is actually no staircase. So you get to see how kind and courteous he is, and the fact that he actually knows the ancestor history of Loch Loud. So immediately he just says, Louds, we're here for you. So we're now going to introduce you around the town. And that's my first impression. Like, he's a great guy. He's like a great guy. Nothing suspicious about him. I can't really say anything bad about David Tennant. He's the voice of Agnes. And to say the least, he's, like I said, a really nice guy. What more can I say?
Exactly. And he plays a really significant role in Lincoln's development in the movie. And of course, we're going to get more and more into that as we talk about the movie more and more.
So, yeah, I mean, Angus does get himself a good specialty when it comes to him being royalty to say. But anyways, let's move on here. So we get to see Morag for the first time as she looks out to the Louds and sees who, and she would go in a panic about it. So what were your first impressions on Morag?
You know, honestly, when I saw Morag, I thought to myself, yep, she's a villain already.
She was literally looking out a window and she literally was like, oh God, Louds. Oh, need to change into my like garments and stuff in order for me to actually become a good waiter or something like that.
Yeah, but she does it in a more annoyingly way. Like she's like got that pissy attitude about it and just like, oh gee, I wonder who the villain is.
So it already gives you the vibe that says, oh yeah, she's the villain.
Yeah, like now of course Morag herself, like her voice actress is played by Michelle Gomez, and Michelle Gomez has really good chemistry with David Tennant. Like she's actually been in a good amount of projects with him. Like she was in Doctor Who with him, and of course she was also in DuckTales 2017 with David Tennant, in which the two voiced the McDuck siblings. Where of course David Tennant is voiced by Scrooge McDuck, and Michelle Gomez voices Scrooge McDuck's sister, Matilda McDuck.
Okay, so here's my thing about Morag when I first saw her. I mean, I have the vibe that she's already going to be the villain. The fact that like she has that like this taste of Loud. She loves to be in the castle by herself, and now it's gonna be ruined because the Louds are there. Um, it already gives you that whole villain vibe. But the thing is, like, how villainous was she? Was she really bad, evil, or was she just like, I hate them so much? I gotta do like I hate them. Just I hate them. Like it's gonna be annoying to my brain, to my hair, to say the least. They're not gonna like. She's not gonna kill them. She's not gonna do anything so sinister to get the Louds out or something like that. So like my first impression was like, okay, she's a good maid. Like, oh, I get it. Like she was annoyed the fact that Louds are in, but I would expect her to actually become like evil as we watch the movie. Let's continue on with the movie.
Yeah, but even then, like when you really look at Morag's attitude towards the Louds compared to the others, like the others seem friendly and all this stuff. Like Morag, just like by her character design and her facial expressions, just strike me as like, yeah, it's obvious that she's going to be the villain. And as much as I do like Morag, like I thought that she was a well played out villain. Like she was enjoyable to watch. Of course, I loved her song that we're going to touch upon later. The voice delivery by Michelle Gomez is really good. Like there are two particular issues that I had with her. One I'll touch upon later. The other issue I had with her was that she was a bit too obvious as a villain. Like I don't know, maybe
you think so? Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm guessing you're right about that. Like she was a little bit too obvious. The fact that like she kind of was the person that stood out and kind of felt like she was going to be the villain. You were like thinking in the back of your mind, oh, is Angus going to be the suspicious person? No. And but yeah, it was obviously Morag. So yeah, you mean like looking throughout the whole entire like the film, you get to see like with her and Louds, it doesn't mix. Like you can totally see that she's like annoyed by him and things like that. So yeah. So lastly, one more thing. The song "The Town Was Made for You." Did you like that song?
This town was made for you. Yes, this town was made for you. Oh my gosh. Like, as usual, the Loud House movie songs continue to be catchy, continue to be memorable, continue to serve a purpose to the story. And This Town Is Made for You is no exception because it really gives you an introduction to the town of Loch Loud as a whole. Like, the song itself does a great and superb job in illustrating and pretty much saying to you guys, like saying to us, this is Loch Loud, this is Scotland, and all the people that are in there, and all the residents there, and it's like you honestly feel like you're in a tour guide of us, Loch Loud, and a really damn good one at that.
I would say this is just an awesome song. Just the fact to get introduced for the Louds to get into what Loch Loud is, and the fact that it's a song by David Tennant, which, by the way, a talented voice actor. I mean, I just love his singing. I love his voice acting. He does Scrooge McDuck, and now he does Angus, and I'm pretty happy that they actually brought him. I'm just very happy they actually brought him, and he does a really good voice for Angus.
DuckTales 2017 fan right here, so I can definitely speak and speak up and say, from personal experience, yes, DuckTales 2017 like is another one of his great voiceover works.
Now, here's the thing, though. This Loud castle is pretty much made for them. I mean, they have their own commodities. I mean, the fact that Loud family can actually have their own room, each actually like designating to their own specialties, and the fact that they even have like a working toilet in each room. So heck, the toilet problem is pretty much all fixed now from the Loud house, for example. You even have a dragon's den, which they would discover they actually found a dragon. They actually named their dragon Layla. They even have a dining room of food made for a family of 13. But perhaps the best part of this was Lincoln having the best room, which was the Duke's room. I mean, look at Lincoln as he like loves the fact that he was going to be the Duke. Like, the boy was the Duke. That's like the most precious thing I've ever seen. Like Lincoln actually saying, "Oh, I gotta have the Duke's room," and everything like that. So this led to a realization that Lincoln Loud could become the Duke of Loch Loud, and he has no reason to flaunt it. So what aspects of the castle did you like the most? Which ones like surprised you with this castle that they're in right now?
Well, I think it's a simple fact that like each and every single room pretty much gives the Louds like items and commodities of their own. Like Luna's got her own music room, and then you got Lola and Lana having their own rooms. To which Lola says, "Now I won't have to hear Lana's burping." And then Lana's like, "Oh, we'll see," or something like that.
Yeah,
Lenny has her fashion room, and of course, you got Lori having her hot tub.
which is pretty much like what teenagers want.
So yeah, it's pretty much like it's their own space, and it helps that the overall space of the room is much bigger than the rooms like in the actual Loud House itself.
I think the biggest thing that came to mind was the fact that, like, oh yeah, we
Oh,
got
and
a
also
toilet.
multiple bathrooms there. Whereas the Loud House had one bathroom, this one they have their own bathroom.
They have their own bathroom, so to say the least, they would say this is a better accommodation than what the Loud House has to offer.
So you can kiss those long lines of the bathroom goodbye.
Most definitely. Now, I mean, the best part I must say is the fact that Lincoln was in the Duke's room. And the fact that he loved the fact that he's in the Duke's room was just amazing. Like, the boy in the painting was the Duke. I'm like, oh, I didn't believe this guy is so precious.
Yes, that's when Lincoln thinks to himself, "Oh my gosh, the boy was the Duke." It's like, now it's my time to shine. Like, this is where I come in. This is where I get the spotlight that he's been wanting for so long.
I feel like this is like the
song. Yeah, this is opportunity to get it.
This was the thing that he was like obviously pointing out for, like, oh, I'm not special. Wait a minute, the boy in the painting was the Duke. Maybe this is my special time to be. This is my time to be special. So after seeing that, now you have Lincoln pretty much like trying to flaunt the fact that he wants to become the Duke of Loud. Like, he's being adorable everywhere, to say the least.
Definitely. Look at that post. He just takes pride.
Now, the thing about it too is the fact that there's a dragon in Loud, for example. Like, they literally have a pet dragon named Layla. I didn't expect this, but we never expect to see dragons in this movie.
Yes. Oh my god.
I don't know. It's supposed to be like Scotland thing where it's like, oh yeah, the dragons here. Oh, they're like real dragons in Scotland. That's the reason why we put dragons in the movie. I thought it was actually pretty cute though, but they actually started off with Layla like that.
Yeah, dragons, you don't see that often every day in a modern setting, like a modern time period like Loud House. But then again, this is Loud House we're talking about. And like I said, sometimes some stuff like this does happen. Like, it's not completely grounded in reality. So this is expected to happen. And let me tell you, that dragon, cute as hell. Like, oh my god.
It's cute as heck. It was cute as heck until it grows up.
Yes.
Now here's the thing I really do love the most though. Yeah, of course, Layla and Lily just absolutely adoring each other together. They look like cute babies, by the way. I love the fact that Lincoln loves to flaunt the fact that he's the Duke. Like, he wants to be the Duke. Did you see that part though?
Yes. Oh my god. This scene where the Loud Sisters were like, Rita and the Loud Sisters were asking Lincoln, "What are you doing?" And then Lincoln's like, "Duking." And then the way he goes down the stairs, like duking, walking down the stairs. Oh my god, the body movements, the physical expression on his face, like everything about it just screams pride. Like, Lincoln feels so much pride knowing his heritage. And let me tell you,
here's the thing: he's not ashamed to flaunt it, and I love the fact that, like, hey, I have the confidence that I really love the Duke. I really want to be the Duke, and I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna like hold back on trying to show off that I want to be the Duke of Loud.
Like,
to say,
like the way he moves as he's walking down, it's just like, oh my god, like Lincoln, like, this is an ultimate, haters gonna hate sort of thing.
Yeah, I know. Like, it feels like yeah, the sisters are gonna hate him for just pretty much wearing all the Duke clothes, but
like, it's a haters gonna hate moment. Haters gonna hate moment.
Right? I just love this moment here. It's like, yeah, Lincoln being Lincoln, he's like an 11-year-old kid who is just going to become the Duke possibly, and he just shows it off like that, which I thought was pretty cool. Now here's the thing. Hold on, let me get my back here. How did you like the fact that Lincoln can become the Duke of a town, and what were your thoughts about a boy named Duke Lincoln? Like, he could become the Duke. Like, what were your first thoughts saying, like, oh man, he could become the Duke?
Like, honestly, when I heard that Lincoln could become the Duke, honestly, I was genuinely happy for him because, like I said, like, throughout the movie, we've seen Lincoln wanting to achieve his goal of being in the spotlight, to get noticed, to be celebrated, just like his sisters have back home. And so Lincoln uses this as a perfect opportunity to have his own spotlight for himself and have his family celebrate him the way they celebrate the sisters. So honestly, when it got to that point, I was actually genuinely happy for Lincoln because, this is what Lincoln's been wanting for so long. And we know that he deserves this because he's been supporting his sisters back. Like, it's not like he was jealous of the sister's success or anything. He just feels a bit let down because his success, like his talents, are not as celebrated as the sisters. So honestly, when I saw this, I was just like, you know what, Lincoln deserves this.
Lincoln really does deserve it. Just the fact that he would love. I think it feels like he really is passionate to actually become the Duke of Loud, and you know what, let him be. But here's the other thing too. Like, I get it. Angus wants him to be the Duke. Like, he's giving him advice and all that kind of stuff. But there's one person that doesn't like that. Obviously, Morag.
Obviously.
Look. Angus was supportive of it, but Morag wasn't. I love the fact, like, at the end, like when dinner's about to end and they were about to walk out to that outhouse that they had in the castle. Did you like the fact that they actually referenced the Loud House theme song?
Yes. Oh my god.
Crashing down the
crowded halls. Dodging girls with ping pong balls. Just to reach a massive amount of time. I was like, oh my god. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, movie, for bringing up the song reference. It's like, oh, nice touch of continuity. Just, oh my god.
I thought that was actually pretty
very nice.
Very nice. I didn't expect to actually see Michelle Gomez and David Tennant going to actually sing the Loud House theme song. And I'm like, what? What was the reference?
Another thing too is that it helps show a contrast in personalities. It helps show a contrast between these two characters in terms of their personalities, in terms of their attitudes towards the Louds, just in terms of their nature as well. Where you've got Angus, who is very helpful, very supportive, very happy for the Louds, and then you got Morag, who is the complete opposite of those things. And this really does, it's one of those dynamic duos that really help emphasizes the genuine chemistry that the actors behind the scenes have. Like David Tennant and Michelle Gomez, like I said, they have genuine chemistry when working in media, and this is one of those key highlights of that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I can't, you know what, they work together, and definitely in this movie. I mean, Morag being the villain and David Tennant being pretty much the supportive for the Louds. But yeah, I just wanted to point out the fact that, like, oh god, more references. Then again, the references to be popping up everywhere in the Loud House to say, and the Loud House movie to say. So now here's the other thing too. This is nighttime. Now, one important part happened here where Lucy would actually go to her conjuring and actually summon a ghost from 400 years ago. Here comes Lucille Loud. What were your first thoughts on her as you see her in her ghost form? And how'd you like the fact that she gets to be really important in the movie?
Okay, like when I saw Lucille, even though I did feel that like ghosts are a bit out of the norm in terms of, the Loud House, but then, like I said, I did come to accept it because, unlike, a future season 5 episode with a ghost in that episode also, like the ghost in this movie, the reason why it works in this and not that is because in this movie, it works to help build up and advance the story. It helps to pretty much give the old Scotland castle brand new atmosphere. Like, it really does help to really, because when you think of old Scotland, like, one of the most fascinating things about old Scotland culture is that like it's sort of like ghosts sort of play into that, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, like, it really does help give Lucy something to do in the movie other than being Lincoln's sister. So what I love is that Lucy's contact with Lucille, who is the ancestor, it really does help give Lucy a more prominent role, just like how Scott gives Lenny a prominent role and how Lincoln and Leela both give Lily a prominent role in the movie.
I feel like this was definitely important. The fact that you have an ancestor from 400 years ago pretty much tell the truth of what happened. And that becomes a big importance, especially as the movie goes along. So when Lucy actually summoned Lucille, it was actually something that I thought was absolutely important. The fact that, maybe there's some like history behind that 400 years ago. Remember that they were pretty much like gone after 400 years ago. They pretty much abandoned their castle. Why though? You have Lucille here, so maybe there's some pointers that she'll bring up. So I think it was definitely important. I'm glad they actually brought this up in a ghost form. Yeah, I guess it's unrealistic, but at the same time, better than
Like I
history
said,
books.
I learned to roll with it. I actually learned to roll with it as long as it actually works within the story. So yeah, honestly, and I've even
Oh,
like I said before, the Loud House isn't completely grounded into reality. Like there are some supernatural elements here and there, but the reason why most of the supernatural elements work in the Loud House universe is because they do help advance and build up the story
right,
as well as the
exactly.
characters.
Which people should understand though. Like it just helped emphasize the point of the story in the movie, even though it might not be unrealistic, which some people kind of like are bugged about. So here's the thing now. The next day, Lincoln has one goal in mind: to become the Duke of Loud. So he would do what he could to make sure he gets the support to becoming a duke, with the help of Angus, of course. This does the many parts of him to officially be the Duke of Loud, from a song to convincing his family to a crowning ceremony to a retheming of the Loud House theme song. There's a lot. There's a lot to
Yes.
break down in this couple of scenes here. So first off, your thoughts on the amazing song that Asher and David sang here with "I'm Gonna Be the Duke." Like how
I'm
awesome
gonna
was the song?
I'm gonna be the Duke. Oh god. Yeah. And then okay, I really love this song. Like it's one of those songs that I could just listen to over and over again. I never get tired of it. Because first off, Asher Bishop for the win. Second off, David Tennant for the win. Third of all, I love the genuine dynamic duo that Lincoln and Angus have in terms of the actual song itself, because the song does help establish Lincoln and Angus in their relationship, because it helps further emphasize how Lincoln is excited to be the Duke, because this is being the Duke is Lincoln's time to shine, and it's time for Lincoln to get his spotlight the way his sisters get their spotlights, like I just said. But then,
Mhm.
like, Angus comes into play and reminds Lincoln that, what the number one most important thing about being a Duke is. And it's to help other people. It's not to help himself. It's to help build his town. It's to pretty much, well, don't just do it to be in the spotlight. You've got to, like, don't just do it to be the talk of the town.
Mhm.
Remember, it's about them and not you. You got to
Right.
do some good deeds. And see, we do see Lincoln try to understand what Angus is saying. We do see Lincoln, try to keep that in mind. But at the same time, like, what really helps, this song really does emphasize how the movie does help explore Lincoln's character, his eternal struggles, because Lincoln is at some sort of like internal battle conflict, in a sense, where it's like, like it's Lincoln's more how's it, like there's a part of Lincoln that, there's a major part of Lincoln that that wants to become the Duke, to fulfill his, objective to like, like be extraordinary himself the way his sisters are. But then there's another part of Lincoln that actually does want to help people, that actually does want to listen to Angus, that actually does want to heed his advice. So honestly, it's sort of a, battle at will, in a sense, where it's like which reason is Lincoln doing for more? And of course he does it for the major part, like I said, but then the movie does help develop and establish Lincoln's character make him do it for the main right reason.
Now the thing is though, like in this song, it was just more of him. Like if you saw from like the beginning to the end, you get to see like in the beginning, Lincoln was just doing it for himself. Like I'm gonna do my best to just show everybody, like, hey, I'm a magician. Hey, I love to be the Duke of the town. Hey, I want to replace all comic books with Ace Savvy. But that's not how you want. That's not how you're going to be a Duke. You have to help everybody around, which is what Angus was there for. So the whole song pretty much just says like, Lincoln, get a reality check. Don't be like the selfish kid you are. you have to help people out too, which is
And
the point of the song overall. And either way, it did give everybody support that, the whole town really does love Lincoln, becoming the Duke now. It's like after all the help that Lincoln did, he's everybody's like proud for him to be a Duke.
yeah, exactly. And another thing too is that like it helps develop Angus's character. Like it helps flesh out Angus's character because we see Angus becoming a father figure to Lincoln.
Yeah.
Like Lincoln and Angus share a father son like bond in this. Like because Angus tries to be a father figure, be a mentor to Lincoln, show him what being a Duke is all about. Because another thing too to keep in mind, Lincoln is a kid. So of course, as a kid, Lincoln, of course, wants to become the Duke for himself.
For himself, yeah.
Exactly. It's his own I just can't wait to be king moment.
Right. It's kind of like that. You're right on that point there. Now, second, how do you like the part where Lincoln would put on the suit to convince his family to stay in Lock Loud, all because of the bathroom problem?
Oh my god. I just love this. Yeah, like no. Like it's not the fact that our son and our brother is going to become the Duke. We should stay. No, that's not what Gibson did say. It's not the fact that we have this big mansion. Like we have all these we have and we're being served to our every whim. No, that's not what Gibson that's a mistake. It's not even the fact that it's Scott falling in love with Lenny. It's not the fact that the Scotland people are nice to them. That's why because it's a mistake. No. It's the bathroom situation. It's the bathroom situation that makes him say, "Okay, we're moving to Scotland." Like, bye, Royal Woods.
I thought that was weird. I'm like, all of the saying that Rita said, like, oh yeah, we have a life home at Royal Woods where we have friends, we have family, and all that. But instead, they just talk about the bathroom situation, and then immediately Rita just goes like, "We're moving to Scotland." I'm like, "What?" I'm guessing it's just a comedy. I'm guessing it's a huge comedy moment there that happened. It's just like, yeah, we get it. The whole bathroom situation was an issue. We saw pipe dreams. We knew that was an issue.
I'm kind of disappointed that Luna didn't just pop out and say, "But I got Sam." And it's
That's true. Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just cut from the scene. I don't know. If they actually have an uncut version, maybe that would have popped up.
That sort of ties it to another issue I have with the movie. I'm going to touch upon that later.
Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, they are going to move into Scotland because of the whole bathroom situation. Now, of course, with that in mind, now Lincoln can stay and can get coordinated to become the Duke of Lochloud. The coordination would go smoothly if only Morag would just let go of the crown to Lincoln. What were your thoughts on Morag just saying like, do, until somebody pushes it down, the Duke of Lochloud?
That was just hilarious. Like even during the coronation scene, and then like you got Morag like hesitantly putting the crown in Lincoln's head, and then you have Angus like pushing like the crown on Lincoln's head.
Yeah.
That was pure comedy gold because it's so funny because like I said, like it shows the contrast of attitudes that they have towards Lincoln becoming the Duke. Morag really hating it, and Angus really loving it just as much as Morag is hating it.
Look, I was just the fact that like this whole scene where like Lincoln is trying to be the Duke. I love the fact that like every time you see Morag, you get to see Morag just continue to have her hair like stand out, which makes sense. Her stress is going all over the place. You get it? Like she's going to be all evil and everything like that. I just love the fact that like yeah, you're about to lose your freedom of the castle, and then the crown just gets placed onto Lincoln's head to say. Nonetheless, it was fun. Now here's the other thing too. Lucille's part in this coronation. We already said how important Lucille was going to be in this movie. How did you like this part where Lucille actually overheard Morag and said, "Oh, I can't believe my ears"?
Okay, now I remember when I said before that the reason why Lucille works so well, despite the fact that she is a ghost, is because like she does help advance and enhance the story. Well, this is where it comes to play. This is exactly what I mean by that. So after Lucille overhears Morag saying what supposedly happened to the ancestors, Lucille then says to Lucy, "'Tis not true. There's actually there's actually the Louds never really deserted Scotland, it was actually like they were actually scared off by the dragon because she was there when she was alive. So honestly, like I like how it gave the ancestors their backstory. Like we got to see each and every single one of these Loch Louds. um, and these each and every single one of these Loch Louds. So they're sort of like the Scottish ancestral version of the Louds themselves. I thought it was a nice touch.
I felt like this was just absolutely necessary because you just summoned a person from 400 years in the past. And the fact that she actually heard that and couldn't believe her ears kind of tells you, like, oh, Morag was lying. Kind of sus there. Kind of sus there.
It was a possessed dragon that stormed them away.
Right. We're moving on to the story though, but I mean, like in this moment here, like when you saw Lucille, like hear that, you hear that, you kind of tell you like, okay, Morag is sus. So like we'll see later on that Lucille actually does know the truth because obviously she was there 400 years ago and knew what happened, why they couldn't go back to their castle. So nonetheless, though, she's now the Duke of Loch Loud, and of course the whole title sequence comes in where like everything's changed. Like Lincoln is now Loud Castle. That song came up. How did you feel about that?
Loud Castle, right? Loud Castle,
yeah, Loud Castle.
Loud Castle. Oh my god! When I heard when they did the Loud Castle version of the Loud House theme song, I was just like, yes, that was just hit the right notes. Really hit the right notes. Hit the right tune. Hit the right melody. Just oh my gosh! Loud Castle, Loud Castle.
Loud Castle. Everything was right. And then the tone of the song was pretty much all positive. It was like, everyone has their own bathroom, so much empty space, there's no one in your face, which is, pretty awesome. Like, okay, it's not like the cramped room like you hear from the Loud House theme song. This is pretty much like a castle where it's just like, oh yeah, everything's all spacious for y'all. You're all gonna be fine.
Which is perfectly fit for 13 family members.
Exactly, we have 13 family members, and the fact though, like as he is now the Duke, you get to see all these sequences of him pretty much saying like, hey, has a fan base, like in this scene, for example, where he's signing autographs, he's doing all this stuff all around.
It's the Lincoln Loud fan base. Like those people represent us. These people represent us Lincoln Loud fans right there.
I know. Just because he's a Duke, that's the reason why a lot of people like him right now.
I see Sonny and Natalie next to them. Sonny and Natalie would be like right next to Lincoln.
Yes, they would probably be them. I'm not be surprised if actually one of them is actually like reference between those characters, between Sonny and Natalie. Actually, no, they're not. They're not. They're not.
The blonde woman is like the blonde woman just resembles, but
I'm like, they're not. I hope. Nonetheless, though, the Louds are going to take advantage of the castle, so obviously they have their own fun times. This whole sequence, by the way, is all on the song, so they have fun at the pool. They have their own dances. Lincoln is pretty much number one all over Loch Loud, and the sisters are pretty much coordinating him as the Duke. They're all respecting the fact that he's now the Duke of Loch Loud. He's pretty much rules whatever the town has. So nonetheless, he's pretty much flaunting it. The fact that he is the Duke of Loch Loud, doing all the kind of things to make Loch Loud, the best town as it is in Scotland. So, proud for Lincoln. And yeah, he pretty much deserved it. He looked like he was having a nice time there.
Hey, Lincoln. This town ain't big enough for 2 dukes. Not just kidding.
Oh, whoa. You trying to make yourself a Duke now?
We're not worthy. All hail Duke Lincoln. Nate, bow down to Duke right now. All hail Duke Lincoln.
My Duke Lincoln right here.
My Duke Lincoln.
Okay, so now obviously fun. It's all fun for Lincoln, but you remember who the villain is, right? Morag. Now,
yep, as we clearly thought. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Morag is pretty much obviously pissed off the fact that he is pretty much ruled under Louds. Her peace and quiet is pretty much over. So she had to pretty much just venture out and find her old mother Aggie's book to try to stop the Louds' reign in Loch Loud. After giving a scream off to the heavens, by the way. It's just one of the funniest parts I've ever seen. Okay, seriously, she screams that in a very minuscule part right there. Like what? So she would find a stone that would take care of her problems with the Louds. So first off, this little scene here where she tries to leave off some steam, This is like, I believe, the funniest part. What about you? What are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, like Morag right there, like Morag just became a mood right there because we've all had our times where we had to vent out, but oh my god, not nearly as over the top as this man. I'll tell you
This
that.
is just absolutely crazy. Like, but then again, this is Morag. This is Morag pretty much saying like, my peace and quiet is over. I am done. I want to get the revenge on the Louds. This, but the fact that they put this scene here was just, oh my god, no. And the fact that she had to go all the way out to go to this part here to scream, "I hate the Louds," and I was like, you don't need to do that. But that was pretty much made the comedy part of this movie. But that would put the comedy into this part here.
Yeah. Now, this actually plays into another issue I have with Morag. Like I said before, like I really like Morag. I thought she served well as a villain. Like, she was really fun to watch, honestly. But I felt that story-wise, the way she's written can be a bit weak. Not just by the fact that she was too obvious as a villain, that I felt like the movie should have built her up to be the villain by at least the middle of the movie, but also by the fact that when you look at her motives, when you look at the reason why she's doing what she's doing in the movie, I got to be honest, they seem kind of petty, don't you think? They seem kind of petty. Where it's like,
Yeah,
you just want your
you
peace
might
and
be.
quiet. I get it, but it's like, if you want your peace and quiet, then why don't you just take a vacation? Why don't you just quit?
Right.
Like, why don't you just go work in the library instead? Libraries are peace and quiet.
It's a good question, but at the same time, I'm like, Morag does actually portray a good villain. Like, I'd imagine, like, you're right about that it could be a little bit petty that Morag doesn't want the castle anymore. Like, I'm guessing that was 400 years pretty much gone because the Louds are back, and Morag obviously had like what 40 years of like peace and quiet, and she doesn't want to ruin it all. So that's the reason why she wants revenge and all. And I guess that's how that's how it is for her. I can't really explain it, to say the least. Morag does feel a little petty, but at the same time, this just gives off the evil vibe that she has. Which, by the way, she definitely does portray a really good villain, and it definitely shows in the movie for sure.
Yeah, I would say like she's a good villain to watch for sure. Like the over the top performance by Michelle Gomez really does help deliver on that, especially.
Now, what were your thoughts on Lucille's backstory and how their family were quote unquote banished from Loch Loud after the dragon pretty much blew their fire, to keep them away from Loch Loud?
Okay, so it's then revealed that like the dragon was actually possessed by this pink
The
gem.
stone, by the stone, by the stone.
Stone. What am I saying? This is not Steven Universe. By this pink stone that that Morag's ancestor had with her the whole time, and Morag comes to discover the stone, and then she decides to pretty much use it to defeat the Louds. But the pink stone actually serves a purpose to the story because it actually is revealed that it's pretty much the whole reason why the ancestors pretty much were driven off in the first place. Well, quote unquote, driven off or banished or something like that. It's because, because Morag, and it's pretty much because Morag's ancestor actually drove them away herself by pretty much hypnotizing the dragon to pretty much breathe fire onto the Louds, causing them to run away, because apparently when dragons breathe fire on them, that's a sign that they must leave Scotland.
It was more like the fact that they needed this backstory just to pretty much Lucille just pretty much gave them their answer, saying like, yeah, Morag lied because 400 years ago our dragon was the one that actually like made us banish. It's not the fact that 400 years ago they just sailed away. So to say the least, though, this is why I said Lucille was definitely important, because she definitely does give a point here for the backstory of what happened in this, in this flashback here. But here's the thing, though. What happened was the fact that dragon was possessed. The thing is that who possessed it? Obviously, Morag's ancestor, which unfortunately is under the hands of Morag herself.
So the pink stone ties into it. It's sort of like a bridge between the past with the Loch Louds and the present with the present Louds.
Yeah. So how did you like these upcoming scenes portraying that Morag will have the upper hand coming up in the movie?
well, upper hand literally, because you see the upper hand right there. So it turns so it turns out that now
She's
the
already
pink stone is like one step of her getting closer to defeating the Louds. Now the next stepping stone, like the next step, well, actually the next step we're going to touch upon later, but needless to say, like this is the first big step of Morag's mission to
yeah.
defeat the Louds so that she can get the peace of quiet that she
To say the
wants.
least, though, she's already planning things up. And yeah, she's got that stone ready. So, ooh, suspicious time. Ooh, watch out. Ooh.
Yeah.
No,
Morag sus. Morag's an
Morag
imposter.
is sus. I mean, she definitely is very, very sus. Lastly, Morag's song, The Duchess I Will Be. How awesome was the song, and how did you like it? Plays at a turning point for the movie.
Okay, so after Morag here comes the second biggest step. Now the second biggest step comes after Morag hears Lincoln telling Clyde about why he wants to become Duke. Like he's like, oh, now that I'm the Duke, I'm no longer in my sister's shadow. Unfortunately, Morag hears this, and once she overhears what could potentially stop Lincoln being the Duke, she uses it as an opportunity to pretty much. She uses it as an opportunity to pretty much tell the sisters to share their talents with the Scotland crowd for reasons we'll get into later. But let's touch upon the song itself first. Now, the song itself, oh my god, it's one of the best I've heard. Like honestly, it's quite a catchy villain song in my opinion. Like she gives off that crazy villainous vibe. You know what Morag is to me? Morag is sort of like a combination, it's sort of a mixture of Jafar and Cruella de Vil. If you know,
Great way to compare it, actually.
like she comes off as a Cruella Jafar character because she's similar to Cruella in that like she's a mad woman with mad hair, and when she gets mad, like she gets really angry. You can see like the eyes, the expression, and the over the top crazy woman type. And then you got the Jafar aspect in which she has a particular staff of her own in which she can use to hypnotize others. Like she hypnotizes Leela the way Jafar hypnotizes the Sultan, and like we're gonna touch upon that later. But as for the song itself, Michelle Gomez, she can really sing. Like she has that tune. She has that. She can sing
she
that
definitely
note.
actually like portrayed the fact that she's an absolute villain. I mean, the plan is pretty much set in that song. The time is now for like the Louds to go away for good. I mean, that's pretty much like the beginning of the song, and then you get to see her pretty much like say, "I must do more. I must get them off the shore." That kind of thing. And this song is just great. By the way, the best song I would say in this movie.
It's one of, I would say, top 2 or top 3. But yes, I really do love the song. Not just because of Michelle Gomez's over the top delivery, but it also helps give more insight into Morag's character and her motivations in the movie. And also, what also helps is the colorful visuals. Just the visuals, just how like how dark. Like if you see like the lighting, and if you see the visuals, you notice that the visuals like have this dark shady
yeah, but that's
dark
what's
shady
supposed
look
to
to
be
it.
because
Pretty much
that was supposed to be because it's her dark nature
because
coming
it helps
out. Because she used to be like the main nice person until she became angry and mean, like the villain she is right here. So
Yeah,
I guess
so I mean,
tells
like,
you that villainous vibe comes in.
like the lighting dims because it symbolizes Morag's nature, like her change of nature from good to evil, from light to dark.
Right. But nonetheless, though, I mean, this whole song just pretty much tells you, like, yeah, I'm an evil person. I'm ready to take down Lincoln Loud and his dukeness. But yeah, this nonetheless, though, just tells you, like, oh god, she's a really awesome villain. Like, if you see like other people who you think like are villains, this one I think kind of puts it up the top. Like you see other villains in like other movies, this one is actually like a really good one.
Yeah, definitely. I would say so myself. Like I said, despite the few issues I've had with Morag's character, like she's still a damn enjoyable villain to watch. And it helps by the character animation and Michelle Gomez's voice acting.
All right. So yeah, the song was one of the best, I would say. Now Morag's plan would actually come into play soon. Morag would convince the Loud sisters to bring their talents to Lock Loud, which in turn would make Lincoln feel left out again, like what happened back in Royal Woods, which you saw in the beginning of end of the movie. So what does Morag do? Well, make Lincoln ride the pet dragon over the town and put on a show, not knowing what Morag will do next. So first off, how heartfelt were you seeing Lincoln going through the same thing all over again, being left out with the sisters?
Yeah, honestly, so Morag, like Morag overhearing Lincoln talk to Clyde, pretty much has her exploit Lincoln's weakness. Like like she has the upper hand now, not just because she found the stone, but also the fact that she found a weakness, Lincoln's weakness for Morag to exploit. And Morag exploits Lincoln's weakness of, you know, really wanting attention in the spotlight by talking to the sisters. And let me tell you, like, Morag is a damn enjoyable character when she knows, you know, she knows good music when she hears it. And so when she hears like Luna playing the bagpipes, um, Morag pretty much applauds her, and she compliments her, music. Actually, Nate, Morag's actually not that bad of a character, not that bad of a woman after all. Like,
No, just because she likes Luna's song, Luna's
she's
like
she's
bagpipe
not.
playing.
Here's
Oh
the
my
thing, like
god.
I don't think Morag. I don't think Morag's completely evil. Okay, like let's just say it. Morag's not a monster.
Oh my
She's
god.
okay.
No. Just because she likes Luna's song. Oh, no, come on, man. She's still an evil villain.
But in all seriousness, though, like when she convinces Luna to tell the sisters to share their talents to the Scottish people in order for Lincoln to be in the Sister Shadows all over again. She then manipulates Lincoln, tricks Lincoln into thinking that she does care for him. She wants to be his friend by advising him to ride the dragon, like you just pointed out. But something sinister. There's a catch to it.
Oh yeah.
Morag actually has the staff with the pink stone, and she uses it to pretty much hypnotize and possess the dragon into pretty much moving around and destroying the Lochloud town, which then causes the Scottish people to hate Lincoln.
My thing here is the fact that, first off, let's go back to the first question, saying how heartfelt were you seeing Lincoln being through the same thing all over again. Again, Lincoln being heartbroken, the fact that, like, oh, the sisters are just showing off again, like, their talents, and I'm just another ordinary kid. So I'm the Duke, yet I'm still an ordinary kid. So I feel bad for him again. Just the fact that, like, oh, I have no talent. And the fact that Morag actually, well, first off, Lincoln actually listened to Morag, and the fact that, like, oh, why don't you just ride a dragon around, to say the least. So yeah, Lincoln listening to Morag pretty much ride the dragon around, but knowing the fact that Layla would actually be possessed by that stone that you were talking about, Omid, because it actually possesses dragons. Nonetheless, Morag would end up, being a villain again. Now, the thing is that it was just out of nowhere. So, say for example, like Lincoln was just riding the dragon, but at the same time, it was Morag who was pretty much like controlling the dragon the whole entire time when it happens. So, look, Morag was trying to be nice, but then just backstabbing her, but backstabbing Lincoln at the end as well. So it's like, oh, why would you do that to a little kid like Lincoln Loud?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I mean. And this is where like Morag, like this is why Morag is a good villain. Like Morag's actually kind of this is actually kind of brilliant of Morag to do because she now knows Lincoln's weakness. She now knows Lincoln's desperate want to be in the spotlight. She knows why Lincoln wants to be the Duke in the first place. So she uses it.
She has nonetheless, though, she's like a really smart villain to say. Like after listening to who Lincoln is, she starts to play around with Lincoln's emotions and things like that. So she does this plan. In the end, would actually sabotage Lincoln, definitely as the Duke.
So she pretty much uses the pull strings. She pretty much plays the puppet master and pretty much plays Lincoln into thinking that she does care for him and she wants him to succeed. When in reality, she uses it as a way to pretty much play into Lincoln's desperate need for attention, and uses it as a way, use Lincoln's own weakness against him.
Nonetheless, though, it did actually work out in the end because Morag actually would sabotage the whole entire town. And the worst part of it all is the fact that the townspeople actually blame Lincoln, and he would run away crying because of this. And I'm like, oh no. But here's the best part of it all. Here's the other thing too. The sisters and the family was going to support him no matter what. Did you like that part there? Yeah.
I love that because it really does show, not just in the movie, but in the series as a whole, like the entire franchise, it really does still keep that Loud House family bond. It still keeps that family dynamic where no matter what, they're always there for him, just like he was always there for them back at home. So I really love that they kept that dynamic. It would have been easy for the family to get mad at Lincoln too, since like they find out that, like, it would have been easy for them to get mad at Lincoln for pretty much ruining everything. But no, they still stick by him no matter what. They still, care for him. They try to make him feel better. And it's at the point where I'm just like, this Loud family is just so wholesome. What makes it even better too is the fact that Angus still sticks by Lincoln too, even if the Scottish people turn against him, even if the Scottish people pretty much tried to cancel Lincoln, like the whole Lincoln Loud, they turn into this like mob was like Lincoln Loud is over party, all that stuff. It's like, no, Angus doesn't do that. Angus doesn't do that.
Now here's the thing though, Morag's plan did end up working in the end, but people are thinking like, sorry, I'm gonna say this again. Morag's plan worked, but did leave a heartbroken Duke Lincoln feeling so guilty for destroying the town that he had no choice but have him and his family leave. So he's pretty much leaving, to say. What were your feelings during this moment here where he's like, can we go home now?
My God, I just felt really bad for this poor little guy. I feel really bad for him because like he's just a kid. He's still trying to learn how to be the Duke. And then like, of course, like, of course, he would be easily believed into thinking that Morag wants to help him because, well, let's face it, he's desperate to still keep the spotlight. So he wants to do everything he can in order to protect it. But we do see why he wants to do that. We do see why he wants to do that. So
I would have to say that I have to say this though. The fact that the whole crowd just wanted him gone just pretty much made him all depressed, and it makes sense because
dude, I just want to hug the poor little guy.
Yeah, like in that scene, you just like, oh God, I feel so bad for him. Like I really feel so.
So we do see that.
I really don't like the picture, but yeah, he really feels so sad.
Those eyes, man, those eyes. Like, yeah, we do see
like when I saw that picture, I'm like, why would you do that to me? It is pretty emotional, the fact that he had to deal with the fact that the town hate him.
We do see that he didn't really mean to destroy the town. Like we know it wasn't his fault. It was Morag's. But they say that like, well, Angus did point out that the Scottish people are very forgiving. They don't hold grudge. But we do see that the Scottish people do hold a grudge. And that's when Lincoln decides, let's go home, like dejected. He thinks that, he messed up bad. And, and honestly, like I said, I feel really bad for this guy because it's literally a kid, who like by accident, like, destroys the town, and then the people hate him for that. And it's just a kid his age. Yeah, it's easy to feel, that sad, when you let the whole town down.
Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, though, I mean, like this whole part here, just pretty much like it's like the tipping. Well, how would you explain it in the movie? Like it's the emotional part where, the villain gets its way. How would you explain that part there?
So pretty much like the rising point. Like honestly, like so after Morag becomes crowned Duchess of Loud.
Yeah.
And after
that, no, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, brother. I was just saying, like this part here. How do you explain this part? It was supposed to be like the tipping point of the movie, where like the villain pretty much gets her way, and and now the Louds are going back home. Now the villain's pretty much ruling over Loud. So villain
Yeah,
wins.
like when you mentioned villain wins, I thought you were mentioning like that part, but no. When you look at this screenshot here, when you look at that, you just can't help but feel bad for all the Louds that are in this, because look at their sad or angry like expressions, like they are sad to leave Scotland in bad terms, especially with Lincoln. Like you see how guilty he feels right here, and not to mention the fact that it's not just Scotland that they're leaving behind. It's also the friends that they made there, like Angus, Lucille, Leela, and Scott. Like they're
There's a
leaving
lot
all
of
the
people that
behind
they
on
pretty
bad
much left
terms.
behind, and it literally left behind like right like that. So I thought it was like, oh, very sad, especially that moment there. So I can imagine a lot of people like having emotions, especially during that moment there, and especially me, because it was like, no, Lincoln, don't leave, fight
Man.
it, but no, you can't fight it. Oh, Lincoln, I feel so sad. Now the Louds leave, and Morag would reign. So with Lincoln's plea to leave, the Louds take the ship back home to Royal Woods. Meanwhile, Morag will be crowned the Duchess of Loud until Agnes comes in to interrupt the coronation, saying it was Morag that made the Louds leave, convincing the townspeople that it was Morag that made the Loud. Oh, sorry. Convincing the townspeople that it really was Morag's fault for the recent events, and since she's now the Duchess, they can't do anything about it. So a lot to process here in this scene here. Let's start off with the Louds leaving Scotland. In your mind, were your thoughts thinking like the story was going to end there? Like, I would be so mad if they just left it like that.
Honestly, since this is a Loud House movie, it's a kids movie. Honestly, I didn't think they would end it right there. Honestly, it would have been too dark for a Loud House property. So no, I definitely would say that I still predicted that things would turn around. Things would turn around for the better. Honestly.
I would say the same thing too. So yeah, I was so glad that they actually have to like obviously not let the Louds just end it there. Morag it still reigns over Loud. I would be pissed off it actually like ended like that. Now, how courageous did you think Agnes was to actually stand up and tell everyone Morag was behind it all along?
Oh yeah, dude. Like Angus is the goat, man. Angus is the goat. Like that moment, along with many others, really does highlight and emphasize how much he cares about, his town. He cares about Loud. He cares about Scotland. Up to a point where he would fight for it, where he would fight against Morag, like he would fight for Scotland against Morag's control, saying that telling her straight to her face, this town deserves better than a liar and a thief.
Yeah, see, exactly. And I was just so happy the fact that Agnes can pop up and just pretty much say like he's the truthful guy, by the way. And I love the fact that townspeople actually trust in Angus. So it's like, oh, Angus speaks the truth the whole time. Are you lying? Are you lying, Morag? And then Morag even says guilty as charged. So I'm like, oh, you liar! She was sus all along. I mean, yeah it makes sense because she's the villain. But I love the fact that like if it wasn't for Agnes, then Morag would be the straight up villain. Like she would seriously be the straight up villain. I would not love that.
Yeah, honestly, like even Lucy and Lucille themselves, like after the song, after she discovers the pink stone, like Lucy and Lucille, like they were very sus of Morag. Like they know that she's up to no good.
Yeah, they
they're
knew
like,
it all along. They knew it all along because like Lucille definitely, like I said, had a huge impact because the fact that like she's the one who is born 400 years ago. So the ghost of her pretty much says like all of this doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to do my investigative parts here. And of course she does her own thing to, make sure the truth comes out. I mean, seriously, she did go and get that. She did go and get that back. That whole journal that what was it? That her old what's her name again? Morag's mom or something like that.
Morag's ancestor.
Morag's ancestor, whatever. It's just like Morag's ancestor. At least Lucille was there to pretty much pick up whatever Morag's old ancestor was what pretty much had for them. So to say the least, though, she now knows the truth that Morag's ancestor was the one that actually got them out of Loud, and she immediately needed to alert the Louds that this happened. So nonetheless, she's important. She was very important. I'm very happy that, you summoned a ghost. Is it just for fun? No, it actually was important for the story.
Exactly. That's what I like about it. Like it wasn't just some throwaway cameo like, oh look, there's Ghost Lucy, get it? No, there's actually much more substance to her character, much more like impact that her character served to the story than that. Like if it wasn't for Lucille, then the climax wouldn't have happened.
Exactly. So I was just really happy the fact that Lucille would actually pop up there, and it was just amazing. Um, so the Louds now are back now after learning from Lucille that the fact that was it Morag is pretty much took over Loch Loud and it's pretty much there for revenge and everything. The Lincoln and the sisters would sail back to Loch Loud and would make a plan to get the crown off Morag and lose her reign as Duchess. So the sisters would go use their talents to help Lincoln get the crown off Morag and bring the reign back to the Louds. How did you like this plan, knowing that literally each of the Loud's talents really showcased here in order for them to stop Morag and her reign in Loch Loud?
Now, what I love about the climax in particular, what I love about this scene is that like the Loud sisters' talents aren't there just to introduce the characters themselves, but they also serve a purpose to the climax. They serve a purpose to stop Morag. Like between Lori and Lynn playing, golf and soccer to pretty much defeat Morag and the possessed dragon Layla, to Luna playing a loud jam in her guitar to, pretty much summon them to pretty much distract Leela. And then you got Lenny pretty much throwing some sort of like big throwaway rug on top of like Morag and Leela. It's pretty hilarious. And then you got Lucy like pretty much pretending to fall, and then in time for Lucille to grab her like fire, and it's just like, and then she's like, and then like when Lucy dodged the fire that was from the fire breathing dragon, like she's just like, oh well, maybe next time. That was pretty funny.
I would say though, I love how
you got Luann dissing her, like Luann pretty much like doing a smash taunt against Morag.
Everyone's talents were pretty much shown again, like what you saw back in the beginning of the movie. Like, oh yeah, Luann loves comedy, Luna loves music, Lynn and Lori are into sports. Lynn especially in soccer, Lori in golf. You totally see that. Lenny with her fashion sense actually helped out in the end of the movie here. I love the fact that this part here where Lisa and Lola actually like work together to actually make things to make like to get everything for them.
So they have no right to be pissed at Lola for spending all that vacation money on the dentist anymore, because her pearly whites actually did help, stop Morag. Okay,
true. So I love that. Here's the thing, like, okay, I thought it was just a waste of money, but it actually worked in the end. So I guess
it actually worked. It actually worked.
It got referenced. It got referenced back for the beginning. I didn't know about this actually. It got referenced in the beginning, and it actually was helpful at the end. So it's like
exactly.
Oh, okay. So there was something important about this.
There was something important about it.
It wasn't a throwaway gag. It was pretty much Lola actually using it to their advantage, especially in this little fight scene here.
Yeah, exactly. So so honestly, like I said before, like the how the Louds were kind of upset with Lola spending all the money on the dentures. All like I'm just no, you have no right to be pissed about it anymore, because she helped you. Okay, if it wasn't for Pearly White dentures,
I just never thought about that actually. I just never thought that Lola would actually be a person who. I never expected to actually see the Lola gag actually pop up at the end. I was like, oh, it was actually makes sense why that would actually brought up in the end. It actually worked out for this plan.
It actually worked. Yeah.
So yeah, Louds ended up actually try to get the revenge at Morag, which led to Lincoln pretty much be on a dragon. And try to get the scepter and the crown off Morag. Nonetheless, they did crash into the castle. Lincoln would be able to get the crown from Morag, but she ain't gonna call it defeat just yet. With the power of the jewel on her, she uses Layla to blow fire and stop Lincoln, even having a chance to even eliminate the Louds itself. I'm like, oh, that got dark.
Yeah.
This led to a matchup between the Duke and the Duchess for the crown. Now, how epic was this final stand between these two leaders?
Yeah, honestly, this was a fight for the crown, but it was a fight between one who wants to use the power to save the town and one who wants to use the power to destroy the town. Look at that. You can see, like, especially right there when you see them fight for the staff, when you have this like tug of war with the staff, it's just, it perfectly symbolizes the battle for power, the battle between good versus evil.
Yeah, most definitely. I have to say this though. I mean, it's just awesome just seeing how epic this was, especially the fact that like Lincoln came back. He wanted the crown back. He wanted to make sure that this whole reign of what Morag is doing is obviously taken away. So he'll do whatever it takes to take that crown back and get that jewel away from her. So here's the other thing too I love about this ending here. Lily, out of all people, actually is very important. You already saw it in the beginning of the movie where you get to see Lily and Lincoln work together to get breakfast burritos. Lily would actually Lily would be very important during these last couple of scenes. So how'd you like how Lily was so helpful here? And was it awesome seeing this reflected from the beginning of the movie?
Yes, it really does. It really does show, like I said, the scene with Lily helping Lincoln out. Like I said, it does show that the dynamic between Lincoln and Lily is still carried out throughout the entire movie. Like it's just as strong in the ending as it was in the beginning, and it especially works where you see Lincoln and Lily pull off some sort of like magic trick on Morag. But first, a little dialogue exchange between Morag and Lincoln, where Morag is like, you'll always be in your sister's shadows, right where you belong.
I thought that was like pretty. I thought it was pretty mean. The fact that Morag just went to Lincoln and said like, you're never going to be like your sisters. You're going to be a plain old ordinary boy. And I'm like,
then Lincoln,
oh.
It's after Lincoln fires her with, no matter how many crowns or jewels you have, you'll never be the Duchess. And he's absolutely right. Like, no matter how much crowns Morag is, she'll never be Duchess because she's not Duchess material at all. It's not about what you have materialistic wise, like a crown or something like that. It's what you have on the inside. Like, she doesn't have the heart of a Duchess, like, at all. And we know this. And that's why she'll never be Duchess. Lincoln's definitely on point with that. And after a little dialogue exchange, Lily helps Lincoln perform some sort of like magic trick on her by switching the stone with a Bawito toe.
Which I thought was actually pretty epic. Which I thought was pretty epic because the thing is, like, Lincoln was there just to pretty much like hold off time before Lily started to switch that around and ended up getting with the jewel herself, which I thought was awesome. It's like Lincoln and Lily have their own like sibling relationship here and actually work together to actually defeat Morag and take that jewel away.
That's what I mean. The Lincoln and Lily dynamic is strong. It is so strong. It's
definitely strong. Definitely is. It most definitely is.
And so, like, you see Lincoln and Lily toss up the stone for Leela to pretty much breathe fire and burn. And so, after that, of course, Morag still doesn't give up without a fight. Like, she's willing to kill. She's willing to murder an 11-year-old boy. And when I saw it, I'm just like, damn, Morag, you are a sociopath. You've gone sociopathic territory. You're willing to kill Lincoln.
She wants to have that. She wants to have it. She wants to have that, like, peace and quiet, and I will have it. That sort of like
it's
quotation.
Like, you're willing to go that length just to kill an 11-year-old boy just for some peace and quiet? Lady, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
No matter what, though, they defeated Morag by taking that jewel away. And yeah, she did end up like trying to get the revenge back. It's like, all I wanted was peace and quiet, and now I'll have it by just pretty much like strangling Lincoln and just trying to get the crown back. But then what happened at the end when they actually when all of them fell down the cliff, that was actually pretty epic. So how did you feel about that moment there?
Yeah, I'm just going to say this right now. Like, Lincoln, Lily, and Morag fall into the cliff, and then Leela saving all three of them. Like, all three of them. When she saved even Morag, I was just like, yeah, of course Morag would survive the fall. I mean, this isn't a Disney film where when after the villain falls off the cliff, like, poof, they're dead. No. This is a Loud House movie where no matter what, you know that the villain is going to make it out in the end.
Exactly. So, I mean, look, you're not going to have like a sweet death for Morag. Don't make it like so dark or anything like that. Nonetheless, I love the fact that, like, oh God, I just hope like in that moment when they both fell, you kind of felt like, oh God, I hope Lincoln and Lily don't die or anything like that. Thank God Layla was there to actually save them and Morag, for example. So nonetheless, it was just one moment we're like, no, don't die. At the same time, yay, Layla,
But here's the
thank
thing.
you for that.
We know they're not going to die. We know that Lincoln and Lily are not going to die
Yeah.
because otherwise season 5 wouldn't have come to fruition, right?
I guess that's a good way to put it.
But even then, I was sort of a bit scared when Lincoln and Lily fell off because they're children falling off of a cliff, So of course you'd be terrified.
Now, obviously, they all got saved. Lincoln would become the Duke again, but he also did have some second thoughts. He would start by cleaning. Oh, sorry. Boric defeated, Lincoln would get the crown. This time around, he admitted that he took the title of Duke as he was thinking about himself and not just for others, which is true. You totally see that in the beginning of the song. I'm going to be the Duke. So what does he do? Lincoln would give off that crown to one man he thinks who should get it, and that would actually be Angus. Angus would deny it at first, but after the townspeople agreed with Lincoln, and even the ghosts of the Louds, by the way, actually agreed with him too, Angus would now become the Duke of Loud. So you're in agreement, right, that he should have been the Duke all along?
Yes, I do agree. Like, honestly, out of all the characters, Angus is the one that is definitely the most Duke material, because ever since the beginning, like, he's always helped Loud. He's always been there for Scotland for all the right reasons. Like he's always done this to help the people out. And he's always helped them, especially as a groundskeeper. And so, so Lincoln knows internally that Angus is the one that should be crowned the Duke, because Angus, while he may not have always had the crown, he still has the crown now. He's always been a Duke at heart. Like, he has the heart of a Duke, so it makes sense for Angus to be the Duke, of course. And let me just say this. Lincoln Loud, you did us proud, man. You did us proud. Give him a round of applause, everyone. Give him a round of applause.
Now, here's the thing, that he deserves it because the fact that he's helped this town all around, even if the Louds were pretty much away from 400 years, even they haven't appeared for 400 years. Speaking of which, how amazed were you seeing the ghosts of the Louds from 400 years past, seeing Angus become the Duke?
Yeah, I was sort of like, where were they? Where were they in this entire movie? You only saw Lucille. It's like, it would have been perfect if all of them appeared in the movie.
I don't know how. I feel like Lucille had a summoning thing, and then he actually brought all of them along, because it was Lucy who summoned Lucille. So what? Lucille had a summoning spell and then actually summoned all of them?
Yeah, but regardless, it was nice to finally see all of them, much to the dismay of Lynn Sr., who we've seen isn't particularly a fan of ghosts.
We get it. He hates ghosts. So,
but it was nice to see all of them coming together and, confirming that yes, Angus is Duke material. Give him the crown.
I think the best part of it all is the fact that even the Duke of 400 years ago even says, "Hey, I've seen you all along. Agnes, you are proud to be a Duke." And then obviously because of him, that he would be honored. He would take the honor of becoming the Duke of Loud, which I thought was just awesome. Like, having a reference back to 400 years ago's past and making him pretty much become the Duke of Loud. And I thought it was like awesome to see.
I really do think so too.
Now, lastly, look, Morag cannot run away like this. Morag needs to be punished for her actions, so Layla would drag her to an island full of Loud seals. What are your thoughts on this last part here?
Oh my god, yeah. When Layla drags Morag down to the island, and then she's like, "Ha! I finally got my peace and quiet. I still win." It turns out that no, she still loses, because it turns out that she's surrounded by Loud seals. Like, oh my god,
seals. Like, they literally are like Louds. If you can totally see from that one scene,
oh my god,
you can totally see like each of them are shaped by Louds. Like,
that was pure.
There's a Lisa one, there's a Lily one, there's a Lori and Lenny one.
That was pure comedic writing right there. Like, after she drops Morag off at a distant island, she thinks she's won because she got her piece of quiet after all. It turns out that the next second there's actually seals like or, and then she's like, ah. So it turns out, yeah, she actually did get punished after all. And it's just like, oh my god, this scene, I give this scene the ultimate seal of approval.
Wow.
This gets the seal of approval from me.
What are you trying to be, like the next Luann here? Oh dear, he's learning from Luann. I think that's what happened during the off season. All right, so that pretty much is the entire movie, but we do have to see the finale of this all. So Agnes is now the Duke. she would start by cleaning up the town, making sure the town is running in right order. He actually would help the ghost. He would actually get help from the ghosts. They will also have a scene where the ghosts would have a little fun with the Louds before they leave. After they said their goodbyes, the Louds would take a boat to their voyage back home to Royal Woods. So many things to talk about in this finale scene here. So let's go first off with the first that the Louds were from 400 years ago are still alive and are helping the town. What were your thoughts? The fact that like even from 400 years ago, the ghosts are still helping the town around.
I still really like this scene. I really do like how each of the ghosts were bonding with each of the Louds, like in their like respective forms. Where you got Ghost Lloyd bonding with Lori, you got Ghost Lincoln bonding with Lincoln, so on and so forth. What kind of surprised me was like Lynn Senior bonding with the Lynn Senior ghosts, because I thought Lynn Senior hated ghosts, but it turns out he kind of warmed up to them.
Yeah, I actually forgot one more thing we should supposed to talk about back in the New Duke to be crowned section. The big moment that happened in the end of this during this scene though, where Lincoln admits that he wasn't as special as his sisters, but his sisters say otherwise. It was because of him that each of them would be able to do their talents. It was because of Lincoln that he was able to look out for his sisters every day. He pretty much is the bond that holds the family together, as they always go through situations with going through his plans and ideas. Hence, you see that throughout the whole entire movie, like his plans to get everything coordinated, his plans to get them to Scotland, all of that. Pretty much what we've seen throughout here. So explain your thoughts of this one little moment here where, he had to admit to his Loud sisters that I'm not special, but the sisters say you are definitely special.
Oh my god, it is such a touching and such a beautiful scene where you got Lincoln admitting his insecurities, you got Lincoln admitting his internal struggles, like what he's been going through in the entire movie, his internal conflict of feeling he's not special because there's nothing about him that's extraordinary about him, like the way his sisters have. But it's not until like it's that moment of clarity, it's that moment that the Loud sisters tell Lincoln that he is extraordinary in a way, because in a way he helps support them. He helps help them become extraordinary themselves by coming up with plans and all that stuff. Helping Lincoln realize his own self-worth, because like one of the flaws of Lincoln in this movie is that he never realized his own self-worth until he needed to hear it, like until he needed to realize it for himself. And that's ultimately how his character becomes developed. That's how his character becomes, so confident that, it's because of the reassurance and the appreciation that his family shows towards Lincoln that helps Lincoln realize maybe I am special after all. I'm extraordinary in my own way, which helps drive him to pretty much, work as hard as like he's never worked hard before.
Now, the thing that really got me, the fact that, like, yeah, look, Lincoln admitted it, and the fact that, he doesn't really see it. I understand that he's just a kid, but I understand the fact that he doesn't really see it. He mostly just sees the fact that, like, every other Loud sister is pretty much talented in their own special way. Lincoln doesn't have that. But if it wasn't for the sisters, actually, if it wasn't for him, the sisters would have not actually had their talents, like, really worked out. So that whole first scene where you see Lincoln pretty much make all the plans, that's pretty much his talent. Like, he helps get this bond all together, helps this family work together, helps his sisters become, how talented they are. And hearing the sisters say that to Lincoln, I think that's the most heartwarming part I've ever heard from this movie. Like, I can't believe the sisters actually admitted it, that Lincoln feels so heartwarmed. It was really heartwarming to say. It was just awesome. Like, Lincoln, you're not useless. You are absolutely a great person. It just took you a while to realize it, like, until you admitted it to your sisters. Yeah. Either way, though, I mean, it was definitely heartwarming. Definitely something that Lincoln really would recite from. That's what makes him special, and that's what makes him like an awesome character to say.
Exactly, and that's what makes this movie so wholesome. Is that, like, we've seen it ourselves how really helpful and how special Lincoln really is, because of his actions in the beginning and his actions in the climax where he tries to save the town and his family. Like, we see that his family sees it. Angus sees how special he really is. It's just that the only person who doesn't see how special Lincoln is besides Mark is Lincoln himself.
Yeah, and it's hard to actually see that that's where the sisters come in to tell him that he's special like that. So like I said, we'll go back to the finale here. So many things to talk about. Let's actually go back and actually talk about the 400-year-old ghosts that are pretty much still alive, helping the town. What are your thoughts about actually having a ghost help around, as you know, Angus is now the new Duke and is just roaming around the town, just pretty much helping Angus just get back Loud.
I really do like how the ghosts are helping, Lincoln, Angus, and everyone like build up the town, because it's a town that they have resided in for years. So, of course, they would want to help with bringing back the town and pretty much making it a better place for the people that are currently residing there. And it really helps that Lincoln, Angus, Leela, the ghost, and all that stuff. Like, they not only do they work together, but they bond together really well. Especially with Lincoln and Angus saying goodbye to each other, and saying that Angus telling Lincoln, "I'll miss you, lad." And then Lincoln's like, "If you need any Duke advice." Oh my god! Angus is best dad material. Like, Angus is dad material.
You just hope he actually pops up in the, like, season 5 or season 6 of the Loud House.
I honestly hope so. I really hope that Angus versus Royal Woods. Like, honestly, like, Angus is just the most wholesome dude in the entire series for me, including the movie. It's just like there's nothing about Angus that is dislikable or hateable. It's just he's just lovable all around.
I love the fact that the ghosts are going to be like a material thing for Loud. Like, even if they were like born 400 years ago, the ghosts are still like materialized, to say they literally are there just to have fun. Like, even at the finale, you get to see them actually like have their fun with like every Loud sibling. For example, like Lenny with Lenny, 400 years ago, Lynn Sr. with Lynn Sr., Luna with Luna, Luann with Luann. So, to say the least, I thought that was actually pretty like wholesome. The fact that, like, oh yeah, you could get to interact with your 400-year-old ghosts. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. Now, yeah, like I said, surprising that Lynn Sr. got around to interacting with the ghosts.
Right. Now, yeah, I thought it was surprising too, because remember, he didn't like ghosts.
He hated ghosts, so.
Oh, I didn't know forget about that.
What happened to character consistency, right?
right. I guess there was a flaw there. I guessing he just got adjusted to ghosts after letting them help the town. Maybe that's the reason why they likes him now.
Could be.
Now we forgot to talk about Lenny and her possible new relationship with Scott. It's all over the movie that she was definitely in love with him, knitting together, being in a show together, and she even kissed him. Are you a fan of this ship after you watch the movie? And do you want this ship to last even into the TV show?
Yes, I definitely am. If not Chaz, please bring Scott into this. Like, Scott is the next best bachelor for Lenny, because Scott has a personality of his own. He's shown to be kind of just as much of a diss as Lenny. Like, and Scott's just got a really lovable personality to him. Like, no lie. It's just they really are cute together. Like, honestly, yes, Lenny and Scott should happen. They are the perfect couple material right there. Sorry, Chaz fans. Like, honestly,
look, like, who's this Chaz? Who's this Chaz? It's over now. I'm pretty sure everybody's just going for Scott and Lenny now.
Like, everyone's be like, Chaz who? Oh yeah, Chaz Finster. Like, Chaz Finster. That's the only Chaz we know.
Like, there were like small little segments where you get to see Lenny and Scott together. Like, I love it how cute they are together. Like, they literally say hi to each other. They literally blushed when they first met up. They were sewing together, and I thought there was like really fun moments. I love the fact they actually like giggled together, like, for that one scene. So, to say the least, I am supportive of this. I really hope we get to hear more of Scott, especially as we continue on with season 6 of the Loud House.
Exactly. Like, just forget about that bland motherfucker from Undercover Mom. Oh, this is the real man right here. This is your real man right here. Okay, this is your real man.
Now, obviously, we already said this before. I mean, I can't wait to see Angus come back in the Loud House. I really hope he does come back. Like, he really should be another person that should come back. Although, to be frank, I don't know if it will be under the voice of David Tennant, but to at least have like some sort of significance, or at least have some sort of like saying that says like, "Hey, I used to be a ruler of Loud. I used to be a ruler in Scotland, but my friend Agnes, who's currently the Duke of Scotland." Something like that. That would be really awesome if they put something like that there.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that would be really awesome. I would definitely want to see this man again. I want to see this guy again.
Now the Louds are pretty much all set sail to go home. All of Loch Loud is pretty much all saying goodbye and everything. Although there is one little scene that we don't want to talk about. How'd you like the ending where you get to see Bobby again? Finally makes to Scotland, only to be late because the Louds just left.
Yeah, Bobby Boo Boo Bear in the end, and then he's like, "Where's Lori?" And then one of the Scottish people point to the ship, and then Bobby's like, "No!" And that's when the movie ends.
I thought that was just like the most hilarious thing. And then
It was
the
so
thing
funny.
here's the thing. You put Bobby in the movie, and the thing is like he was going to all the way to Scotland. So yeah, you're supposed to like obviously refer back to Bobby, if anything, but you didn't until the end. So it's like, okay, so this is pretty much a comedy gag. All right, I'll take it. He literally was just screaming, saying no, just like no from Angus when he was like screaming to high heavens. So was. Go ahead.
Okay.
So okay, yeah, that was pretty. Go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead. Fuck.
Okay, so honestly, now another issue I have with the movie is that I felt that the runtime was a bit too short. Like it could have been longer, in my opinion. And how you could have had it longer was you could have had scenes of Bobby actually traveling to Scotland. I actually wanted to see some of that.
We did say there may have been a Miguel Puga cut. So we have to talk
about
Miguel Puga.
Release the Puga cut. Yes, okay. I'm one of those release the Puga cut people. Okay, I will stand by it. Just we need the Puga cut. Okay,
you follow us on the LoudCasa Talks and the fan page of Loud House. Hope you're listening to this YouTube podcast. All right, but here's the thing though. The movie didn't end from there. There's actually a couple of things that actually popped up in the credits. Let's see. Let's look over here. We get to see the credits roll. We get to see Clyde welcome back Lincoln with cream puffs. Lincoln becomes now the third best magician in Royal Woods. Laurie and Bobby are together again. Lenny still keeps in touch with Scott as pen pals. Morag would be off the island to relieve her of her punishment, but she would serve as the Loud Ghost's servant. So how'd you like this couple of scenes where we get the credit? How did you like this last couple of scenes where we get to see like little bits of snippets, seeing what happened after the whole Scotland trip?
Oh yeah, each and every one of them were very heartfelt, very touching. Like, of course, you got Lincoln and Clyde. Pretty much Clyde celebrating Lincoln returning home. Laurie and Bobby being reunited. I think like one of the most iconic and touching ones, like the most touching one for me, is when Angus gives Morag a chance to redeem herself. Like Angus takes Morag's hand and rescues her from the island because he's just that wholesome of a guy. Because he knows deep down that, Morag deserves a second chance, in life, in her job, but it doesn't come without punishment, of course. Like Morag still has to deal with the loudness of the Loch Louds. So she does still gets a bit of punishment, but it's just nice to know how forgiving he is towards Morag. Like, he himself doesn't hold a grudge, like, honestly.
To be fair, though, Morag still serves those ghosts.
Exactly. Her punishment, like I said,
yeah,
she still gets punished in the end.
Her punishment is not to be alone on an island. It's more of like, yeah, you're still a servant to the Loch Louds, even though Angus is now the Duke. You still have to serve those Louds, I guess.
Yeah, because he could have easily left her on the island. I wouldn't have blamed him, but no, he actually came back to rescue her, and it's just like, bro, I stand Angus all the way. I stand Angus, man.
I think the best part of it all is the fact that, like, right at the end, look, Bobby went through a lot, and he still went up with Lori, so they're still together. I was more like, oh God, Bobby, you wife. This is more the funny part of Bobby. Like, he went through all kinds of lengths. He went through a lot of things in order for you to get back to Lori. So I love this fact that this thing got this thing got resolved here. It's like, oh yeah, Lori and Bobby are still together, even if it was really hilarious. Good job, Bobby. Also another thing too. Look, they're still pen pals. I really hope they can become a OTP. I don't know if Lenny's gonna refer it back into the Loud House, but if it does happen, I'm gonna be very happy about that. It's like, oh, Lenny still has a heart for Scott, and hopefully these two
Yes.
can become like a thing. Hopefully Scott actually goes to the Royal Woods. We'll see. But this is gonna. They're still pen pals. They're still sending each other stuff, but it just tells you that they're still in a love connection to say.
And Nate, I think I can see I think I can see all the Chazeni fans unsubscribing, unfollowing our podcast right now. They're just like they want to boycott. Chazeni fans want to boycott our podcast right now.
Oh my God! Come on, come on!
Y'all Chazeni fans gotta chill out, okay? Like I fought for Chazeni, okay? I fought with you guys, okay? But after seeing this, it's like, guys, Lenny and Scott is a good match too. Come on, okay?
Let it happen. Look, I'm sorry, but Chaz is dead. I don't know. He's not in the show anymore. So I'm like, he's probably gone. Like, no one even freaking like understands him, unless out of random Chaz pops up, like what happened with Jackie and Mandy. Oh God, that would be really funny.
Yeah, it's like bring Chaz back.
But then remember, like we said, Jackie and Mandy did come back too. Could possibly be Chaz be the next person. Now, lastly, this part here, I think really did touch all of us here for the Loud House community, because the fact that they have a calling card at the end that pretty much says like, loud thanks to the extended Loud House family from the TV series, from the unexpected support and inspiration. You helped make this movie loud and proud. It was kind of aimed towards the staff, but it kind of aims towards us. How do you feel about this little end card that we were able to see at the end credits?
Oh my God, I felt so touched just seeing that. Just so touched. It was honestly sort of like it's definitely literally, this is a love letter to us, not just the crew, not just the cast, but also the fandom as well. And let me just say, as a diehard fan of the show, as a LoudCasa Talks podcaster, and as someone who has been within the Loud House fandom for a good amount of years and has made friends within the fandom, honestly, I have to say is that it really touched my heart just seeing that. All I like to say is, to the person who made that, who sent that, let me just say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
It definitely was awesome just to see it, because of the fact that like we've been supportive with the Loud House for so long, through its troubles, through a lot of things, but we are still part of this fandom, and the fact that they still thank us because we watched this awesome movie is just, something heartwarming to say. And it's just an awesome shout out from Nickelodeon to us, and it just tells you that we're loud and proud. They're loud and proud too, and we're really happy to support the Loud House for sure.
We are the Louds, loud and proud.
We're never going to stop supporting it, by the way.
Hey, what do they, just like they said, just like we're saying right now?
All right,
we are the Louds, loud and proud.
All right, that's pretty much it for the movie. So anything else you want to bring up for the movie?
Yes, I just have to say this one thing. Like, I adore this movie so much. There's a reason why it's my favorite movie of this year. Not like, there are many reasons. Like, one particular reason is because it's the movie that we've been waiting for. We've been hyping up for. We feel it deserves it. And we finally got what we got. Another thing too is that like this is a movie for us. Like, this is a movie. I feel like this is a movie specifically for us, and that's what makes it special to us especially. And the third reason is because it serves as a bridge in terms of Lincoln's character development. It really does serve as a well-built bridge between season 1 through season 4 Lincoln and season 5 Lincoln, where it's like we do see why season 5 Lincoln has become like the best that he has ever been, the most confident that he's ever been, the most lovable he's ever been. And it all stems from the amount of growth and development that he went through in this movie. So I feel like this movie, like, they made the perfect decision to have like the timestamp of this movie, the time period, be in between seasons 4 and season 5, because like, it really does make sense when you think of how Lincoln really grew as a character.
Now, my thing is that for those who don't know about the Loud House, I think we brought a lot of fans in because the fact that the Loud House had its own movie. Because the thing is that it was on Netflix, so people don't know what the Loud House is unless they watch the Nickelodeon show. Maybe people don't know about Nickelodeon, so they immediately just go to Netflix and say, oh, what is this Loud House movie? So they turn on to the Loud House movie, and I love how everything was pretty much all made from the beginning, where we get to see how the Loud House was, how the Loud House is, to pretty much how the story is. Like, oh yeah, it's all about this one kid, Lincoln Loud, and how he becomes such a how he's becoming such a mature person. With all of the sisters who are pretty much like wild and crazy sometimes, Lincoln is the one that pretty much like holds the bridge together. Even though he's just a middle child, he can still be able to, be doing his own thing. And then we also get to see the problem where like Lincoln is like just an ordinary kid. He's not like anything special like his sisters. So he ends up becoming the Duke of Loud, but he takes advantage of it. But at the end, you know that he's still special in his own way by supporting his sisters, and that's what it's all about. Like he's the bridge that holds it all. He's the one that takes care of the whole entire family, and that's pretty much how the movie is. Like it was actually made really well for like those who don't know the show and for those who know the show. So like for us who actually knows the show, it was just absolutely awesome just to see how maturing Lincoln could be. But for those who don't know the show, it's like, oh, this is something that I could get myself into. Like, oh, I love how Lincoln's character is. He relates to me. Or I love Lucy because I'm goth. I like Lucy. I like dark things. I like rock and roll. My favorite character is Luna. I love fashion. My favorite character is Lenny. I love golf. My favorite person is Lori. And I love my cell phone. My favorite person is Lori. So, nonetheless, I feel like this was a great movie for anybody who wants to touch the Loud House, who wants to talk about the Loud House, who wants to just get their first like look into what the Loud House is all about. This is a good way to actually start it because it all begins from there. And for those who actually watch the movie just for the first time, they can go to Nickelodeon and just start watching the Loud House from there. Like go to Paramount Plus, watch season 1 through 4. Then you get to see more about who each character of the Louds are. And that's what makes this movie so good. It's like this is a good stepping point for anyone who wants to know who the Loud House is and can continue the journey by watching more Loud House, the show. And thankfully, I believe this is a great movie to just, do that stepping stone to say. I think it's just a good way to have everybody get introduced to what Loud House is.
Yeah, honestly, I do have to agree with you there. Like I know I said that like the movie, like the people who would mainly get into this movie are pretty much us fans who have watched the series. But however, this movie isn't, just catered to the fans alone. It can actually be viewed and enjoyed by someone who hasn't even seen the series yet because the intro especially gives a really good insight into who each and every single one of these Loud characters are. So honestly, whether you watch the series or not, I still highly recommend the movie because of how really wholesome it is.
It is. And it definitely does portray like a really good movie. Like even if you're just there for just like, oh, just one Loud House movie, that's fine. But just watch it from the entirety and see like how it is actually a really good animated movie. Yeah. I don't know. I got nothing else to say, but here's the other thing too. Now, here, the movie, like we said, came from season 4 to season 5. Now, season 5 obviously will have some references, right? When it comes to like the Louds in Scotland, for example. So we don't see it a lot. But hopefully it actually does pop up in season 6 saying like, oh, I was actually born in Scotland. Oh, I actually came from Scotland. That kind of thing. We did actually see something like that. Remember in Fam or Scam? I think it was something popped up where like Lola said something. Oh, I remember I was a fashionable in Scotland or something like that. I don't know about that. I didn't see the episode yet, but did you see that reference though?
Yeah, I saw the Fam or Scam reference. And I think it was it has something to do with how Clyde mentioned the part to Cricket about how his ancestors were good at baking. Like he learned the baking from his ancestors.
Yeah,
like it was that part of the callback,
which is what you saw in the movie. But Lola didn't say anything about the family ancestors. Okay, I didn't see the episode yet. We have to review that, by the way.
yes.
This tells you how behind I am with the Loud House, just because I was on vacation in Oregon.
Got to keep up, fam. Got to keep up.
I can't. I was busy in Oregon. I was busy with a KomoriCon. All right.
At least it wasn't a scam.
All right. So we already spent 2 hours in this review. Let's actually give our overall thoughts and ratings. So Omid, we'll start off with you. How would you sum up the movie and how would you rate it?
Like I said before, it is such a wholesome movie. It really does help make the movie enjoyable. The movie is so enjoyable to the even to the non-fans who haven't seen the series, but especially to the fans who have stayed loyal and watched the show religiously like we have. Like honestly, the movie just works like in every single way. Especially with the moral. And the moral is so touching. The animation is really well done, very well polished. The villain is really enjoyable to watch. I stand Angus. The family dynamic, the family bond is still there. Like, it's still as wholesome. It's still the family bond stays true to the series, and like, for all these reasons and more, like, I adore this movie. And the overall rating, I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10 because Sam Sharp's in the movie. Not just kidding.
Oh my!
I'm actually gonna give this a 9 out of 10 because there were a few issues I had with the movie, but they do not diminish the movie as a whole, like at all. They just keep it from being perfect and flawless, but like overall, this is still an amazing movie, and it's definitely one of my absolute favorite movies based on a cartoon series like ever.
So here's the thing. Yes, they have like their flaws. They have their when it comes to a perfect movie. But the thing is that I look at the aspect of the fact that this is a Loud House movie. This is going to cater the fans, which is true. It does cater the fans. The fact that there's continuity in here, we get to references back. Like, for example, Sam and Luna, which is, Sam was there for only like 1 second, but you know that Sam and Luna are together, and they actually do have an appearance. So like, oh my God, Sam, yes, 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 continuity. And there's more continuity points that actually do come up in the show as well. That we can also bring in as well. That also gets portrayed in the movie, which which caters to the Loud House fans. What I'm also looking forward to is the fact that, like, for those who don't know the Loud House, they'll watch this movie and may get themselves interested. That's what I like about it. Like, you just put up a movie on Netflix where Loud House is not even on Netflix, and you just hope that the reception of the movie ends up giving some positive feedback that a lot of fans would get into the Loud House. And I feel like that happened because the movie was absolutely perfect. Like, from the beginning, where we get the introduction, from the story itself, look, little flaws that happen here or there, but you get the point there. Like, oh, Morag is the villain. She wants her peace and quiet. Agnes is a really good boy. He's helping Lock Loud. Lincoln is the main focus of the episode of the movie, and it shows that he has those problems, that he wants to fix those problems by being the Duke of Lock Loud, by taking care of business because taking care of business because of Morag, who's started to rule over the town. And for Lincoln to become the hero to fix his own problems and to obviously have the point that he is the main focus. He's the main focus of this family, that he's the one that actually holds everything together. I say that it all was pointed out in this movie, and it definitely showed, and everything from like the animation to everything was just awesome. I know that this is a brand new animation company that made this Loud House movie, but I hope they come back and make it more again, because I would love to see more Loud House development from them if they are going to make another Loud House movie. That's for sure. But to say the least, overall, it looked great. The point of the story was all over there. Animation was like tip top. Everyone who says like the animation sucked should probably see it again, because it actually was like flawless. And I would say overall a 9.5 out of 10. The only thing that will give it a 0.5 is the flaws that we're talking about, like Morag's reason why she would actually want to get rid of the Louds because of peace and quiet. I thought that was kind of like a little selfish of her. But
not
like
self. Well, it's selfishness. I think that's the point of Morag. She's supposed to be selfish, but the problem with that is that Morag's motivations came off as petty. I don't mind it being selfish. It was just a bit petty of her. That's just
right, petty, but still, I mean, like, it's something that villains may get like angry to. Like, it could be a little bit petty, but it still worked at the end. And by the way, Morag definitely does show as like a villain. Like, she definitely really is a villain. And I really love the fact that like she is the main antagonist in this show, in this movie. And I'm so happy. Like, I'm a fan of Morag. I'm not gonna lie. Morag definitely does portray the great villain. Like, she really is a really good villain. Y'all gonna probably hate me because I just said that.
No, I have to agree with you. She was definitely enjoyable. Like, despite my problems with her, like, I still enjoyed her as a villain.
like she's really funny too. Like the way that she like approaches things. She's like, oh, like put me down or something like that, or all the things that she got into. I was like, everything is just hilarious. I just love like how Morag is. Yeah, she could be a villain, but she can also be like someone that I really enjoy the fact that she is a villain. I don't know
Yeah,
if that makes sense
is
to
it
anybody.
like Michelle Gomez? It's helped that Michelle Gomez really has fun with the role. Like she really does have fun with Morag when she does the role. I think that's what really sells it for me.
All right. Yeah, and no doubt about it. Overall, to say the least, this movie is absolutely one of our like most favorite movies. This is not biased to the Loud House because we're huge Loud House fans, but it was a good movie overall. Not gonna lie.
Definitely, man. I agree.
All right, and that's pretty much it. Thank you for sitting in our 2 hour, 30 minute long podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very long, but to say the least, though, we had to break down everything, and we did do that tonight. And glad you guys are still here, by the way. It's just awesome to see you guys continue to support us, continue to support the Loud Casa Talks, and to support our new season as we just get started. That we just got started today. Just remember that you can listen to the Loud Casa Talks wherever podcast providers, wherever podcasts are provided. When it comes to Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, the Loud Casa Talks will be there for you to listen to. We're also on our YouTube channel as well. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell on our YouTube channel so you can be notified about our next Loud Casa Talks episode, which will be next week. So the thing is that in 2 weeks we have a brand new Loud House live action movie, Loud House Christmas, that'll be coming to Nickelodeon Paramount Plus for everyone to see. And people will still have their doubts. I'll meet up talking to you. Will it be great? Will it fail dramatically? What can make people want to see this live action special? Now, we did do an episode of Loud Casa Talks before where we talked about if animated shows go to live action, is it necessary or not? But this time, in this new episode of Loud Casa Talks next week, we're going to be discussing on how it will work and how it can work and actually be successful. We will discuss especially about the Loud House Christmas that will come out in 2 weeks during Thanksgiving, how it got advertised, all the behind the scenes videos, even look at the actors' social medias promoting the movie, and go in depth to see if they work to help convince people to watch it. We'll also go deep into other cartoons that had the live action treatment and see if promotions and advertisements before back then really did help them out get their movies out. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. What makes a live action adaptation film good? That's going to be our that's going to be our next episode. That's going to be next Sunday. So hopefully you come back here on our YouTube channel to watch us talk about it.
Yeah, definitely, guys. So don't miss out. So yeah, this was definitely a good way for us to pretty much start season 3, and we started season 3 with a huge bang, and I mean literally huge bang with a literally huge movie.
So next week, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be like probably shorter. But the thing is, like, it's just more of just us discussing like all the behind the scenes stuff. Is it actually really working for the Loud House Christmas movie? All that kind of jazz. So we got a lot to talk about. So hopefully you come back here next week as we talk about the new live action Loud House movie.
Definitely. Yeah, we're going to be talking about, we're going from one Loud House movie to another.
It's coming out soon, so we might as well just talk about it, right? But that's it for us here. Thank you for staying to our almost 3 hour long podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. My name is Nate.
And this is Duke Omid, the Duke of LoudCasa Talks. And let me just say, like, ta-ta. Thank you all so much for watching our Loud House movie review. And until next time, smell you later, Dukes.